Obi.
Oh boy, we have
and
Obi?
Sharif, the professor.
Oh boy.
Go get him.
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh boy,
what is up,
indeed.
beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. He is Obi, the one, the Kenobi. Shout out to him. We're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other chat. Adara off for the afternoon, but she will be here for the afternoon rundown. So make sure you're with us. All the Adara for there we go. Hamster one. We got Derek Thompson and Matthew Booth. We got Vin. Let's go. Vic Dan, Novak. Oh boy, Trader. Okay. A Day Trader Cut, Odyssey Fights, Huang family, and Mr. Jonathan as well. What's going on with you, sir? We got Neil Rob. We got Nate. We got Medical Mariana. Okay. Oliver, the Piper, Fiddlebeck. Oh, we got the whole bunch of people joining us today. My main man, Adam Deleuze. He is not losing today, sir. Mr. Ian, we got Sean Hodge, we got RTJ, Anurag, and Benton C, Daniel Melendez, we got Scott Angel, thank you, Marco, as well as Why Not. So, you know, there's Why Not, and that's important to have in the chat as well, Ob. So we're in a trade right now. I'm long right now on PRTG. I believe I'm about a little over 20 pennies in the money. Screen guys. Nice. On this name, it is up 145%. I went long right at the volume weighted average price. I did not wait on this one. It's a big boy winner. We'll talk about why it's moving in a second, but here's a look. It's not even a small cap gapper. Or is it? No, I'm looking at the wrong one. It is a small cap gapper. $7 million market cap, 35 and a fifth million shares. Go, baby. We're 30 pennies in the money now. Let's go a little bit more. Let's see if we can get triple H. Triple H sounds good to me, Ob. I don't know how you feel about double H, but I said triple H. I meant double H. Shout out to all my Asians out there. It is a lucky number in the Asian culture. We're putting it out there for double H. We'll see if we get it. 35 and a third million shares traded on the day. 12.1 million share float. Let's find out the short float if possible here. PRTG. Negligible, 0.7% of the float is shorted, so not much to talk about there. Still hanging out around the 75 penny area. We'll see if this one gets going. Shout out to Tisha Perkins. I know that she loves these type of stocks. I think a couple of other small cap gapper traders out there. If you're into this, let me know. And make sure to vote, guys. I mean, there is a whole lot moving today. If you don't have something to vote for today, when will you have an opportunity to vote? There's all sorts of movers, small caps, big caps, even these medium caps, Ob, they're doing things. So make sure you're getting into the chat right now. Have your say every day. Otherwise, the big kahunas will not be able to look at the names as decided by you guys. So make sure you're checking that out. Ob's setting up his platform in a sec. You're good?
No, I'm still kind of setting up, guys. How's it going, guys? Just give me a couple more minutes there. But what a wild move in the market. That was absolutely intense. J Powell coming in, Reversion Man coming, and he did come. And interesting places to turn on the Nasdaq and on Nvidia as well. I'm gonna go through some technicals that I had marked off earlier. Kind of got blasted in the morning. Not really blasted, but sized a little bit more aggressively, gave it a little wide, and then kind of made a little bit of it back on the flush that we just had. Now we're slowing down on this 19.7. So how's your morning been? What are some of your trades?
You know how I do. I start trading when we get on the show. I just want to point out. Right now, look at this. We got Sebastian. He voted for MU. Hamster 1, he's voting for Trump 2024. I don't know what that is. Malcolm is voting for Neo. We got Sam. He wants to know about UBXG. I love that. Bears versus Bulls. He wants to know about the SPY. My man Zion Lala wants to know about AVGO. He likes that Broadcom love. So get into the chat right now. Have your say every day. Or the Katina Man and the Neil, they're not going to look at the tickers that you want. So that's the way it is. So anyway, I'm still waiting at this 80 penny level here, Ram. $6.80 seems to be a local area top. Unsurprised by that on PRTG. Look at this consolidation area bottom off which the closing prints on the one all bounced off 680. So it's not surprising to me that we're using a former area of support as resistance here, but call them a crazy, but I'd like something around a 7 print, hence why I'm waiting at around the 88 area, okay? So I'm gonna let this one cook, and if it stops out through the break of my entry, then it stops out. If I wet my beak at 88s, then I wet my beak. Now let's look at some of the large cappers here, because I think that's why a lot of people are here. We had a big boy market flush midday, unannounced to anybody. Well, they don't usually announce their flushing, but there it is. We got a big move down, breached 19.7, held up though above 19.6 on the NQ September contract, and that is important because if we base this 19.612 as the low, well, it's not even that. That's not even the low. The low's at 20s. Well, then that's a higher low than the low we put in yesterday. So if that's the case, okay, then we have something off which to work. What I'm seeing though, at least on the 5-minute on the NQ September contract, is the same flat top act as resistance. That's at 19.725. Here we go though. We may be testing that level. We haven't on a closing basis quite yet. VWAP on the NQ September contract, it should behoove you to know 19,770. So we're at about 40, mid-30s right now. We'll see if this market wants to pop back up. I'm seeing all sorts of bottoming tail candles on these Mag 7 names. Without exception, they all have bottoming tails, but it could be bamboozlement central. You could see these bottoming tails, you punch in, then it ends up making a new low. So I need a little bit more evidence before I decide what I want to do here. All right, back to PRTG because we did break 80. Let's go 88s, baby. And there it is. We'll get the 87 print, but that prints 90. So as per usual, I do paper hand the trade, but I'm happy with it. I just took out 40 pennies, quick as you like on this one. Good trade so far. Are you good to go, Ob?
Almost.
All right.
I mean, I can kind of work and talk at the same time. I'm not too bad with the multitasking, but yeah, no. Take a look at this. So this is kind of the degeneracy I was up to. Maybe not that degeneracy. I got to be a little nicer to myself sometimes, but wasn't too bad. I kind of had the initial pullback off of the 127 here on Nvidia. Here, let me blow up this chart a little bit so we can see a little better. And review some of the stuff that I did here. So get short 127, get add here a little bit more for a pullback into VWAP here. It pops above and kind of starts pushing. Brankles yells at me. He's like, "Do you have a stop?" And I'm like, "Yes, I got an idea of where I need to get out there." I love it. I'm like, "All right, get out above the 54 break." Basically, I was like, I'm going to get out before Powell kind of starts speaking, going into that. Thank God I got out. Look at this, Sharif. I was short 127s. I added in, I doubled up right here below 60, so my average was 75s. I got out. I got out pretty with a wide stop, kind of aggressive. I got out at 127.54s and to the moon as soon as the man steps onto the podium. Unreal. Right? So absolutely crazy. Great reason to buy, great reason to stop out, and great reason to take a long through that day high. But holding the moving average, we're going to be talking about moving averages today.
Absolutely.
But, and Nvidia is a prime example. Nvidia was holding the 8 moving average on the 3-minute, as I noticed, and I was like, all right, well, I know I'm fighting the trend a little bit, but I'm looking for a distinct change to come in when he does step on. And I was wrong, but you know, manager mischief. We pull back in, and I'm like, all right, that's an aggressive pop to the upside. We pull back in, and then start holding that same moving average, right? And I'm like, all right, well, I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. I'm gonna flip long, and I'm gonna risk to the low. I'm gonna risk to the low that moving average hold. Get long, pushes up into 129s, fails to follow through 129. I'm like, all right, well, I like that. I like that for the back through. Get short. Not enough. Comes in almost a point, pops back up. I'm like, all right, get out. But then I re-engage on the short here, Sharif, right as we break back below 129 halves, and that's when the magic starts to happen there. Get short, cover some more, get short more, and then I see the Nasdaq start breaking structure as well. And I'm like, oh boy, it might be coming in. Prior bar low break on the 15-minute has not happened yet, and it's about to happen, and the tape's looking weak, the futures are looking weak. I did not pound this in hard enough right here on the break back at 129, break back below this. I did add below VWAP, which was, I was like, okay, I like this. If we're going to crack VWAP and then break below that as well, but take a look at that. Strong reasons to buy. I just cover everything piece by piece. Boom, 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 boom. 126. kind of a failure to follow through on the selling, and we saw that there was some buying pressure there. And again, this aggressive buying pressure with that expanding volume came in from around these prices.
Oh,
so
we're coming down.
I'm gonna take that off. But yeah, let's see what the day has in store for that. But
the Katina Man is short Apple at these levels, guys.
Let's go.
226.20. But leave your chart up there for a sec.
Okay. All right.
Does that not look like one of the most beautiful Head and Shoulders?
Oh, absolutely. Right here.
Look
exactly.
at that thing,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying. I got to get so much more aggressive when this breaks, and when the shoulder starts to slow down, maybe take a little bit of a dabble as well.
Love it.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, lots to improve on. Crazy movements here today in the market, Sharif. But what do you got going on?
Oh, but just before we start the lesson, I want to let everybody know that the Russell's up 3%. Okay, it's up 2.84. It was up 3 and change when I yelled to the Katina Man. Something's afoot with IWM, RTY, whatever you guys want to trade as a derivative of the small caps. But the Russ up a gnarly right now, 2.8, and was up well above that at highs. Thank you for Day Trader Dad $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Can you look at AKTS? I will absolutely do that for you before we start the lesson du jour, because you put a super chat and you were very nice. What's going on over there? The Katina Man's not $1 in the money now on Apple as it drops into 225. If you don't already subscribe to our other channel, More Trader TV, maybe right now it is the good time, because on that channel you'll be able to see the Katina Man's positions, Neil's positions, all the headlines, as well as the markets in general. So make sure, yep, there it is. Thank you guys, undefeated production team. That is the More Trader TV channel there, and you can run it simultaneously with this stream because you don't hear anybody punning on that side of the screen. So, yeah, get it? All right, AKTS. I didn't have any eyes on this one. This is 10-cent name, and I filter my scanner to block everything out south of 85 pennies. But this is an $11 million market cap. It's a 10-penny name, my man, but it's only done 2.5 million shares on the day, and then the float's 103 million. And I'll give you the short float super quick, 4 1/3. So not bad, certainly. Great direction today on this name. Love affair with the 10 exponential on the 5. Since the bell has rung, we haven't even touched the 20, and you don't have any closing prints south of the 10. That's all well and good, but the volume is just not there. So I'm personally not going to be involved in this name, but that doesn't mean that you can't. Maybe you trade a little bit differently. We have to account for volume on the prop floor here because of issues with liquidity, but it's a fantastic look. Let me look at the daily chart real quick to kind of get a gauge of the trend. Well, yeah, we see this with a lot of small cap gappers down into the right. Looks like the low there was around 7 pennies. This one may not have much longer before it has to reverse split because it's going to get that letter from the exchange. Yeah, it trades on the NASDAQ, so they may have to adjust soon here. So let me know. We love you too, man. How do I say? Empower Pixels. We love Trader TV. $10 super chat. Thank you very much. The Empower of Pixels there. Thank you very much for that $10 super chat. But we do have a lesson du jour to get to, so let's get right to it.
What are we learning today?
We're learning about moving averages.
Okay, cool. Let's get it done.
We're going to use them as support and resistance.
I like that.
I'm good with that too. So let's get right to it. All right. Support and resistance, let's talk about that as we always do. We just introduce the topics for the newer viewers out there. Understanding support and resistance, kind of an easy concept. Support and resistance levels essentially are price points where a security or whatever instrument you're trading tends to bounce or reverse off that level. So you come into 200 on Apple from the south side, say from the 190s, you reject. Or once you clear the 200 level on Apple, you come down into the 200 level on Apple, you bounce. That's what we mean by support and resistance. Support levels are areas essentially where buyers are more likely to enter the market, and the resistance areas are areas where the sellers are more likely to enter the market. So you can kind of glean what the price action might be once you're at support and resistance levels. And so how do you use moving averages to gauge support and resistance? That's what's going to be the focus of our lesson today. So moving averages certainly can be effective tools for IDing support and resistance areas. When the price touches or breaks through a moving average, it can signal a potential reversal or continuation. We'll talk about different contexts there. So that's what we're looking for here. In the same way that I was kind of giving you the idea that price comes into 200, rejects, or comes down to 200 and bounces, does the same thing, but with a moving average rather than a static price point. That's what I mean there. So it's not just one moving average that we use as a gauge for support and resistance. Usually we're using moving averages in combinations. And we kind of introduced this concept a little bit to you yesterday, these moving average pairs. I submitted to you the 50 and the 200 SMA and the 20 and the 50 EMA. Today we'll build on those, but we'll talk about them from a little bit of a different light. So let's talk about the 50 and the 200 SMA. The one that we talked about yesterday. So how do we use this? So essentially here, when the price touches or pulls back to the 50 SMA, it can act as a potential area of support. Conversely, when the price touches or pulls back to the 200 SMA, it can act as a potential area of resistance. So what do I mean by that, right? So for example, if the price action is between the 50 and the 200, if there's space separating the 50 and the 200, you're going to want to use one as resistance and one as support. So what are you looking for when the price comes into those levels? So if the price consistently bounces off the 50, for example, it suggests a strong support level. If the price consistently fails, though, to break above the 200 SMA, it can suggest a strong resistance. And the point I want to make here is the more touches, the more times the price goes into a key moving average and rejects or bounces off it, the more weight you should be giving to that moving average or to that level of resistance. So the more times a support level gets tested, the more times a resistance level gets tested, the more credence you need to give to that area of support and resistance. And the longer, not just the amount of times that it's tested, but the amount of time that has elapsed, that support level has gone unbreached or that resistance level has gone unpenetrated. For the longer it lasts, the more important it is. Yeah, I know. Use an interesting word there. Huh? Waiting time. The waiting time, essentially, what you should be looking for here, it can vary depending on market conditions, right? However, a common strategy to test these areas of support and resistance using moving averages, you should be looking essentially for the retest. So if you breach that 200 level on Apple, I'm talking about a price here, but let's say you breach that 200 SMA on the daily on Apple. Fine, great. So then you've breached that level. But one method basically is to wait for that price action to come back down and retest that 200 SMA. So that's what you should be waiting for. Sometimes you don't get the retest though, and you need to be okay with that. So yeah, if you're going to wait for the price action to come back in like myself, before entering along, you need to be ready for the price action never to come back and having to get in at maybe a less advantageous price level. And other indicators you can consider using with the 50 and the 200 on balance volume. It's beyond the scope of this lesson, but we will get to it on a different day. But essentially, OBV here on balance volume you use to confirm the strength of the support and resistance. If the on balance volume is increasing as the price approaches support, it suggests strong buying pressure, and conversely. All right, let's talk about the 20-day and the 50-day EMA, not SMA this time, as another pair, moving average pair that we can use to gauge support and resistance. So how do we use? Kind of similar setup, well, basically the exact same setup as the 50 and the 200-day. So essentially what you're looking for here is it to come back and test the 200 or to breach the 50. All right, that's what you're looking to use it for. And what to look for. The same principles apply with the 50-day and the 200-day SMA. You're looking for consistent bounces off the 20-day EMA, for support, and consistent rejections off the 50-day EMA as resistance. And your waiting time here, it has to be a little bit shorter than what your waiting time with the 50 and the 200 would be, because you're using the 20 and the 50 for more shorter term trades than you are the other pair there. So keep that in mind. And some other indicators that you can use here to help your trading using this system. You can consider momentum indicators like RSI or stochastic oscillator to confirm the strength of support and resistance, and divergence here certainly between price and these indicators can suggest a potential reversal. So keep on the lookout for that. Let's talk about some strategies though using these moving averages pairs for support and resistance. The technique here, you're looking to buy near support. So when the price touches or pulls back into a moving average, which is the support level, you can consider buying as a potential entry point. And then obviously you're looking at selling near resistance. So when the price touches or pulls back into a moving average at the resistance level, consider looking to take some profits there or to de-risk. But you should also be on the lookout for these breakouts and breakdowns above or below key areas on the moving averages. So if the price breaks above a moving average resistance level or below a moving average support level, it can signal a strong trend change. And if it's going against you, you really need to consider where you're going to get out, okay? And retests. We kind of prefaced this earlier, but after a breakout or breakdown, what you should be looking for here sometimes, not all the time, is the price for the price to come in and retest that former area of support or that former area of resistance. This can provide an opportunity for you, obviously, to enter the trade if you didn't the first time around. But again, I really want to point out the fact that you may not get that retest. Let me give you a story. Everybody knows about my Caterpillar trade. Great, fine, Sharif, you did fantastic. But what happened when I wanted to get back in again? Until Black Monday a couple of weeks ago, I never got that 300 ad, right? And I had been waiting and waiting and waiting. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Buddy, the Mara indicator is back, everybody. All right, here's what I'm talking about, Cat. Yeah, yes, the Mara indicator. So this is the daily chart on Caterpillar. So until we got this 300 level over here, look what we were doing. We used 320 as the new support level. And then what happened? You ended up popping back into 370. So I thought for sure, once that happened, that I'd never get my 300 ad and that Caterpillar would be at 450 by year's end. But I did get my 300 ad. Okay? And that's the look there. So have your orders out at the areas of support and resistance that you want, especially if you're trading on the long-term time frame, because I never got it, but then you did get that 300 ad. So that's the look there. So you're looking for these retests after the breakout or the breakdown. They don't always come in, but sometimes they do. Just to finish up here, tips for some using these moving average. You need to definitely consider the market conditions. I made this point clear yesterday. Moving averages are all but useless in consolidative markets. You're going to get umpteen amount of crossovers, most of which will be false signals. So it's incumbent upon you to gauge the market trend before you start employing indicators that don't work in that specific market. So two markets where moving averages are kind of poop: consolidative and highly volatile. Second point I want to make here, combined with other indicators, we already kind of mentioned that. You should be using it with RSI, MACD, stochastics, on-balance volume. You need to figure out what works best for you. And last but not least here, adjust your moving average periods. I really can't stress this enough. So I like to use the 10, the 20, the 50, and the 200. But Adara likes the 9. What do you use? You use the 8?
I like the 8, the 21, the 50, the 200.
See?
Is not bad.
See? So it's incumbent upon you to figure out what moving average pairs or more than pairs work best for you. And my suggestion to you is, you got to have some sort of testing grounds off which to base that. So the sim may not be a bad idea, especially as you experiment with different combinations there. So that's a look there, and I hope everybody was able to get some of that lesson. All right, let's see what we're doing here on the future. Oh, baby. Okay, so it looks like the winds of change may have at least come for the moment here. Well, since I was yapping up a storm on this lesson, we've not only taken 19.7, but now we are knocking on the door of 19.8, very close to it here, about 12 points below. In fact, this 5-minute candle did breach 19.8, but we are not above it on a closing basis. I was actually looking for 19,975 rejection owing to this area at 9:20 in the morning, this area crest over here. So let's see if we base anything off it. But right now, Wolflin and Wafflin at 19.8.
Yes, sir. So yeah, aggressive sell-off there that happened. We're taking a little bit of a reversion off of that. But yeah, thank you for the lesson on moving averages there, Sharif. Definitely something that I use to kind of guide my perspective in the market for sure. Again, when certain indicators are respecting, it's clearly showing you that it's respecting. That's definitely a time to consider said indicators for potential, or give more weight those indicators for sure. And yeah, I wanted to show Nvidia here as a bit of an example, as something that was holding its moving average and then kind of gave it up there. So you know what? I'm gonna actually pull in my my main chart here just to show that off. Okay, so. So yeah, these are some of the moving averages that I like to use. Okay, I did not mean to do that. Pull that back in right here. So yeah, you can see right here. What am I using? So look at that. These are EMAs. I don't have all of them turned on, but I have the 8, the 20, the 8, the 21, the 50, and I think the 200 there in the dark purple that's turned on. But you can see this is a 3-minute chart. Off of the open there, okay, so off of the open, maybe don't want to have those in, but VWAP holds quite well. Pre-market high holds quite well, and it just blasts through. This was kind of the level I was looking at from prior day here at 126.90s there, and 126.90s. This was the initial short that I did have off of a fail of that area, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a little bit of space. Ultimately, you're wrong above 28. There, we're absolutely wrong above 28. But then, yeah, I gave it to 127 halves there with that aggressive pull. But yeah, once you pull in those moving averages and kind of compare it to like what was done over here, you can see that every time it pulled back, the bid kind of stepped back in. It was holding the 8 moving average, even through that crazy shake and bake, Sharif. Take a look at that. The strong pop, the pull back in, aggressive bidding right back up with a candle close above the moving average, right? There's no real candle closes below the moving average. So you can tell that it's respecting, and now take a look at where it starts to fall apart. You have the first candle that actually breaks and closes. That's a 1033 candle on the 3-minute chart. So that candle is the first sign of a distinct change in behavior since the first 2 opening candles. Their opening candles we're not really taking those into account. But then every candle after that, we kind of started changing and started holding the moving average to the other side, and we got that strong flush coming in. So yeah, it was a great example of moving averages holding there. You can see that if you have a stop, Sharif, at the low of that moving average, it's getting taken out every time.
Exactly.
Every time. But candle closes a little bit more information than the candle wick there, in my opinion, and everything kind of closes above that, showing you a little bit of a trend. What's up?
So you mean that closing prints are more important than other prints?
They hold significance, is what I say. Yeah, they hold some significance, of course.
Validation, because I've been saying that a lot. All right, we got a quick ad read here. Guys, are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in the market? Are you missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get the breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everybody else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If so, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. All you got to do is click here, Fabian. I don't think that's that hard, right? You just go and you click the yellow button. So shout out to Benzinga doing the absolute most in a good way. All right, here is PRTG. Still keeping my eye on this one because it came back in. It did breach VWAP, but it did do a very good job of defending that $6 whole level, and now it finds itself above VWAP again. In fact, quite a bit above VWAP, but what I'm looking for here, what's operative to me, is the lower high situation. So in order for that to change, yeah, we're going to have to make a higher high, believe it or not. So that to me comes in vis-a-vis a $7 breakout. We get that 7 breakout, we not only get higher highs, but we also breach another key area of technical resistance that we couldn't breach initially there at 950. We did, of course, after that, we got up to 825, but we know that 7 is an important level. We're at 7 right now. There's a whole bunch of selling. Look at the amount of, well, basically, it's not reflected on the book. There's all sorts of selling coming in there, but the 7-8 moving, baby. So definitely a big boy seller hanging out at the whole dollar. This thing's up 160%. It's moving up a storm right now. So I want to see exactly how we can weasel into this trade. We were able to take 40 pennies on it, but this $7 area acting as a key area of technical resistance. I know you're in a trade, but when you're free, if I could just get some shorts for this one as well, or let me know how much they cost. PRTG. Thank you very much, Neil. Appreciate that. So we did get a topping tail candle into 7 right now with no breach on this one. Oh, it's very much in play. PRTG. I gave you guys the deets on this one earlier, but I'll just remind you again that PRTG is the float is where they want to get to here because that's the most important thing. Yeah, 12.1 million share float. So not the smallest, but not the biggest we've seen around. So that's a look there. What are you looking at, Ob?
Nothing much, man. I'm kind of looking for the next trade. I'm a little short here on the Nvidia. Nothing too crazy. Just looking for a reversion back into VWAP. If we're making lower highs there, this 19.8 also held a little bit with a bit of wick action there. So I'm just kind of continuing to watch that. But let me know in the chat. What are you guys trading today? What are some of the interesting tickers that you are involved in? I know that again, I was going through some of the in play tickers for the day, just checking them out here. Again, shout out to Mateo. Yesterday he kind of pointed out that Uber and GM had a bit of a catalyst. So again, Uber, a deal with GM and Uber, something about their cruise fleet. I don't know too much about the news, but the price action definitely did a little bit of a move there, and we're holding VWAP on both Uber and GM today, Sharif. So it should be interesting. I was also looking at some of these other car names here, like Lucid and Ford as well. You can see Ford continuing a little bit of a trend on Ford, and then Lucid as well. LCID, all of them trending to the upside as of right now. 420, hello. Lucid trading at 421 right now. So yeah, let's see. A little bit of a continuation. This thing's been bidding up, Sharif, for the past few days there. Now, I know you're involved in a couple of EVs. I think I'm
in Polestar, but it's a lottery ticket.
Yeah?
I want to make that very clear to people.
We've been seeing a lot of Polestars in the area. Like, I like that vehicle. Stock, I don't know about the stock, but like the vehicle is pretty solid, I think. But yeah,
that's the only EV. I'm at a Li Auto, obviously, because of the geopolitical stuff. The Polestar thing, I made my case for this the other day, and I don't want to, talk up my own book here, but we see them all over in Toronto. And so I'm just thinking, if the world gets a little bit tight on money, that they may revert to what we call Canadian sensibility here. And so I think this car does well in Canada because it's well priced. And it's got good range, about 304 kilometers worth of range. But I'll stop talking about that because I'll be talking up my own book, and I don't want to do that. So here we go. I'm long Apple at this level. It keeps bouncing off this 226 area. I'm going to have to give it room because the bottom can come off anytime. I know that for a fact because we haven't cleared 19.8. So I'm looking to scalp, maybe something into the $0.25. There does seem to be a bit of a range between 226 and 226 and a third. If that's the case, I'll just play the range, and then when it breaks, it breaks. So we're long right now. We'll see exactly what we get. I'd like to be able to, wet my beak a couple of times on this one, but I'm looking for 226 generally to act as a level of support. If it doesn't, that's fine already. We wet our beak there, about 15 pennies in the money. Let's see if we can move up a little bit more. I'll be waiting possibly now at the $0.33 because I just finished saying that the range was around about 30 pennies, maybe give or take. So we'll put that out right there. And I'm sorry for the wicks over here, guys. I'll be able to adjust these in a hot second. What else we got? It looks like Meta may be rejecting the 20 exponential on the 5 here. So Meta looks a little bit weak, which is good because we want to get some direction on this one. Now this one, big boy flush, we breached the 10. Now we're starting to put this rounded top with this doji candle being the operative candle. And then we look at the candle subsequent to it. Well, it's another low. So if we get, this candle's got 2 more minutes left on it. Now, if I get another candle with another low, so doesn't breach 533, this will be an interesting short on META. It's already down into 532. So packing my patience on this one. We can see what we get here with OB. But Meta, well, the Mag 7 in general, looking a little bit weak right now.
Yeah, so we are kind of slowing down, kind of calming down there on the markets. I'm just replying to Piper here, talking about what they've traded today and saying the usuals, Qs and Nvidia. Yeah, no, I got a little blasted on Nvidia in the morning session, but kind of made it back coming into the midday as well. But yeah, looking to kind of continue that idea below some of these levels. And I think what was it? Somebody in the chat. Well, I think Icky22 saying that Nvidia's strongest in the mag right now. big something to short right now. I'm like, all right, cool. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. But I do want to point out where Nvidia kind of rejected off of here. And I did say we're going to be looking at some potential technicals that I had. Draw a line on a chart. Call it technical analysis. But take a look at this right here. All-time high is 141. Next top. So how many points does it take to draw a line, Sharif? 2 points.
How many? Oh,
2 points, right? You don't need more than 2 points. So one high there, second high there. Hello, this is long-term resistance. And look at that. Nvidia chips with the dip all the way down on August 5th. Again, another iconic moment. 90.69. Heyo, and then we rip right back up. We break this trend here, and then this is the bigger picture trend that was taken off of all-time highs. Now, we did do a little bit of a wish-wash of that prior day there, and look at that aggressiveness. So yeah, that's selling. That trend resistance is still kind of standing there, and then yeah, you confluence that with what we saw at that 130 on that initial day right here on the close. It was over 21,000 lots. And then coming in the next day, look at that sell pressure coming in. And then coming in the next day, that sell pressure even more aggressive to the downside. You guys saw what happened yesterday with that aggressive selling all the way down from 129s to 125s. Oh boy, I was not involved in that one, and I was kind of kicking myself for not being alive to kind of take that move. But take a look at this, that aggressive selling once again coming in. So it seems like that selling is getting a little bit, that selling is getting dealt with. So let's see if this multi-time frame, higher time frame trend resistance can hold, right? So that's all I'm looking for. We're trading below it. We've made a high on the day. We could totally come back up and I'll get stopped down. That's perfectly fine. I don't know what I don't know what Nvidia is going to do. I'm just looking at some of this past information and trying to make, trying to decipher probabilities from my own perspective, and then make a decision by putting in a fill on Nvidia on that. So that's the reasoning behind potential or the short that I am in. But again, I'm not as aggressive. Again, I want to get aggressive when the price action gets aggressive, and there's no sign of the price action getting aggressive as of right now. We're just chopping sideways here, looking at the 3-minute chart. Take a look at this right here. So we are trading above VWAP. So yeah, we could potentially come in for that 129.5 going into the end of the week. Again, it is a Friday. It's Jackson Hole. The reversion man definitely came in today. We reverted a little bit of the move there, and we hold VWAP and we revert all the way back over a 50% reversion off of that strong push. But take a look at this. Volume's kind of dying off. We're kind of getting sideways underneath this 19.8. So I do kind of keep that stuff in consideration. Now, does that mean that, oh, I'm going to be successful on this trade? Absolutely not. I have no idea if I am, but I'm disconnected from that, from the idea of being, being right or wrong. I just want to participate in what I'm potentially seeing, what the chart and the price action is telling me. I hope I am listening well, Sharif. So that's kind of the reasoning behind there. Pathic in the chat saying, check out Peloton. Okay, sure. Let's check out some Peloton right there. Didn't they have earnings? Yeah, they had earnings yesterday. So today is earnings day 2. And take a look at that. Strong close, day 1. Holding VWAP, reclaims VWAP, breaks pre-market highs, breaks prior day earnings day 1 highs as of recent, only about 6 or 7 minutes ago. And we're trading higher. So 480s printing on Peloton. Earnings day 2, that strength seems like it is still there and has not really subsided, even with a little bit of selling there off of the open. So that's Peloton right there. I'm not getting involved with it as of right now. Don't really have any plans for that. What is happening here? Did I not have a stop in for that? Okay, well, I guess my stop did not trigger, so I will just punch out as of right now. Actually, I'll give it a couple minutes. What's up? All
right, I'm short Meta and I'm long on Apple. So I'm looking at wetting my beak here. Well, we'll see if we get stopped out on Meta. The spread is insane. It's 50 pennies right now. What the hell is going on here with Meta? Like, why is the spread 50 pennies? 45 on the bid, 91 on the ask? Like, seriously? All right. That's a new one there for Meta. 533 and 10 break and I'm out. I'm looking at wetting my beak possibly at 532 and a third. But this one, like the reason I have it above 533, because if it breaks above that, it'll be a new 5-minute candle will make a new high. And so to me, the trade is invalid at that point. Looking to defend 533, but it's awfully close into that 533 area. Meta, yeah, bamboozling me here as the future moved up. So I did get the fill on Apple. So we got a nice fill there on AAPL at the third of a dollar. So I'm happy with this trade. I'm unhappy with Meta. So here, let's go back into Meta now that the Apple's resolved. And we have to watch for this 533 break because it looks like we are putting higher lows and I will get stopped out here. Sucks to be me. There was a good area of resistance at 533. You had that initial area trough at 1020 showing you the support there. And there it is. So now we get stopped out on Meta. So that's a bad trade as we are now at 19.8. So that Meta trade is going to put me negatory on the day despite the Apple dubs. But yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And it blew through my level. Thank God I got it at 533 because now it's at 534. So there you go. So it looks like, you know, my stop triggered on this side, but that was yeah, still not a great trade there. But, you know, tried to base it off these levels, but the higher lows here were, I guess, the more operative observation. And it looks like I took out Apple far too early because it worked all the way into 2/3, but it is rejecting VWAP at this level. So we haven't cleared 19.8 by, you know, a lot of distance, 19.805 at the moment. Apple still below VWAP, Meta below VWAP, Softy below VWAP, and then it's not the same look. You got Tesla above VWAP, so is Nvidia, so is Google. So is Amazon, by the way. Oh, who am I talking to? I got the
I got Amazon right here on my other chart right there. Yeah, so.
That goes without saying, Ob. Well, the Amazonian, yes. Like, come on.
I mean,
so topping tail right now through 19.8. So we'll see if we can get that continuation to the north side. But the market is recovering.
Oh my God!
What's up?
I think it came in, stopped out, pulls right back in. Classic. So do I get right back in? That's a decision I'm kind of. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
Yeah, no, go for it, brother. Go for it.
You know, today, you know what? I will admit I am getting a little bit more emotional than normal here with some of this price action that was happening. I was unhappy. I was like, I do not have enough for this flush to come in. Break of trend. Reversions, I like reversions, and when the reversion comes in and I don't have the right kind of size, I am starting to get a little disgusted at myself. I gotta do better with that. And you know what? We will definitely do better on the next trade. And what is the next trade? That's what I'm looking for right now, Sharif. So 129 is holding right now. A little bit of a lick grab of that 129. So you know what? I might as well get involved a little bit lower here after that price action has kind of come in, almost kind of being like, all right, well, we tried to get through 129. Getting a little slapped into the bid there, right back in 128.80s testing right now. But we talk about moving averages holding. If you guys pull up the 8 EMA on the Nvidia chart right here on a 3-minute, we've been holding it, the 8 EMA sitting at 128.66s as of right now. But take a look at that. After that lick grab of the high of the range, probability of testing the lower range, in my opinion, goes up a little bit. And here we go. We are attempting to break down of that. So I want to take a little bit more there and see where that takes us. Can we get down into VWAP 127.75? Can we see some of that aggressive selling come right back in? I have no idea, Sharif, but that lick grab of that 129, I was there. I was stopped out as part of that action there. But let's see if we can do a little bit of continuation of that selling to the downside there, or do we continue to hold or do some, we talk about using multiple moving averages, right? Because I like to use multiples as like, I just use the 821 for trend acceleration and deceleration. Okay. Because it's like, okay, trend breaks, since I like reversions, it's not always that the reversion just comes in. Sure. Right? Sometimes the buyers dissipate. That's very clear, right? The buying has dissipated, and then it starts to break trend. And then after the trend break, then what do you call it? You might get trend deceleration. Like we can still continue in that trend, but now maybe you're not holding the 8 anymore. Maybe you go down to the 21 and maybe you find some support at the 21. So it's like you can still kind of continue in direction of trend, but trend deceleration. That's definitely not deceleration, but we might get to VWAP here with that aggressive selling coming in. 127.75s. Let's go, Sharif. Let's
Just
go.
took $1 on Meta, Ob.
Boom.
Yeah, we got exact revenge there on Meta. Got short and top. That's bamboozlement central. You know who talks about bamboozlement? The Mara indicator. He uses a word I can't use on the show, which is fine. You can glean it. It ends with uri, okay? And then just put another 4-word in front of that, 4-letter word. Here it is. So we pop up aggressively there through 533, and that's where I was trying to base my trade. I waxed poetic about it, to use an Adara term, at 533. We get the topping tail candle, the specialist breakout, they call it. Oh, baby,
Look at
there
this
it
tape,
goes,
man. This
bro.
is some beautiful tape. Look at that selling coming. Sharif, I want to point this out again. Look at where that selling comes in. Guys, you just have to draw lines on your chart.
It's
That's all it is.
Get out of here, Ob. That's this guy here. No, but we got the specialist
If it's
breakout.
respecting, you got to respect it as well.
No, I know.
The
right.
market
Fair. And this is the bamboozlement of the market. You got great levels at 533, seemed check all the boxes on Meta, and then you get this push. The algos are not going to make it easy for you. The market makers are not going to make it easy for you. The good traders out there with a lot of buying power, they will not make it easy for you. So this will happen a lot, and this is why trading becomes emotional, because you look at it ex post facto and you're like, I checked all the boxes. What I do wrong? What am I still doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. It's just, this is the way it is. And so that's the look there. Happy with this trade. I'm still negative on Meta. I'm going to be quite open about it. We'll look to exact more revenge on whatever name we need to exact revenge on. So keeping my eye on this one. His name is Big Style now.
Yo, I agree with that. I agree with that super chat, Kyle. Let's go.
It's time
That's
to
what I've been
short
doing.
the pops.
I've been shorting pops. Let's go.
Shout out to Big.
What pops are you shorting, Kyle?
Oh yeah, he's Big Spile Burdette, so
right.
we know
Fair,
that
fair.
likely he's going to be shorting up a storm on the spot. But let me tell you, he took like a
He's got that arachnid short.
Eh?
He's got that arachnid short.
Oh, arachnid! I love it. The spider, get it? The arachnids, I love it. It's not an insect; it's an arachnid. In case you didn't know, not just trading on this show, baby. We also make up words and talk about arachnids. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah, oh boy. Shout out to Big Smile Burdette, because he had a huge banger on Tesla the other day. I think he's still holding a piece for the dream. Shout out to him. He had it somewhere like up here in the 20s. He added at 15s, I believe, something like that. Let us know, Big Smile. He's always putting his levels in the chat. I was also talking to Dan, the dang man Emmons, in the chat. Another great futures trader. Keep your eye out for his levels as well. And he's feeling a little bullish. So we're definitely still higher lows than we were yesterday. Believe it or not, the NQ is still green. It's green, not just a little bit, up 0.8. And both the ES and the NQ are up 0.8. I just can't believe what I'm seeing on the Russell. 3.05%. The rotation trade is still on, and it's been on, I guess, for the last month. Let's load up the Russ over here and have a look at that. Where is my side chart? There it is. Let's bring in IWM. Well, we can look at the RTY because I have the futures contracts on here. Here is the mini. I don't want the, the E-mini is good. We'll go to the September contract. All right, here's the daily. So we're still not at those July highs, but we have certainly worked back up. And look at that level of support on the daily at 20,000 or 2,050 to 2,000 and a third. Lots of support there. And then you come back right up, and we'll see if we can test those highs again. Those 22, almost 2,300 highs. We're not that far away, 2235. So the Russ certainly on the way up intraday. Here's what the Russ looks like. A lot of respect right now for these moving averages. So we'll see if it holds up here again. But I don't know, maybe 3% is a lot. So we'll see if we get a bounce. But it's doing the same thing right now that it did earlier on at around 1050, where it comes into the 10 exponential, puts in a bottoming tail candle, finishes as a hammer candle, and then makes a new high. So RTY, or if you wanted the IWM, if you don't have futures access or you don't want to trade that leverage product, IWM looks identical. The chart is identical to the other one. So you're just going to have a different price, but essentially the same setup.
Yes, sir. So yeah, so covered pretty much everything there on the Nvidia as you can see that VWAP aggressive buying off of that VWAP. We attempted to flush through VWAP with that aggressive selling earlier, and we reclaimed it. So it's like, oh, all right, what is the information that's changed? VWAP bidding was aggressive off of the morning, in the morning session. We hold moving averages above VWAP, so VWAP buyers definitely VWAP buyers definitely kind of in control-ish is what I'm getting from that strong shake and bake off of Powell kind of stepping on. VWAP comes in and holds once again, right? So we attempt to break VWAP, and then we reclaim VWAP. So now when we pull back in and we get an aggressive bid off of VWAP plus confluence with 128, yeah, I want to kind of respect that and be like, all right, well, I'm more than willing to kind of continue the short idea, but maybe we get more involved below VWAP if we can kind of show that those buyers are no longer there. Did try a little bit of a short here on the Ford. Let's see if the Ford can take us for a ride here back down to VWAP there for a little bit of a reversion. But again, what do I know? I have no idea whether or not it may or may not come in. But yeah, this is absolutely beautiful right here. Nice little resistance holding underneath that 129, Sharif. And VWAP, a little bit of a resistance VWAP sandwich happening on Nvidia. We talk about some of the crazy price action that's been happening over the past couple of weeks there. But if you're looking at some of these bigger picture, higher time frame kind of levels there, I think it makes a little bit more sense. Here comes 128 once again. Let's see if that VWAP can come in. 127.76 is VWAP I have on my chart, and that dip came down to a low of 127.84. So that's pretty close. Close enough to VWAP for a little bit of a bounce, and that bid does come in. And take a look at this, Sharif. We're holding that 19.7 as well. Pre-market consolidation range lows as well. Opening range lows as well. We have that slam down that does break day lows, and then take a look that reclaims right above that 19.7 as well. So a little bit of buying kind of happening in that area. Let's see if Nvidia can come in here as well. I'm more than willing to continue to short the pops. Ooh. Shout out to Kyle there. I guess Evo is talking about Burke. Burke is in like Birkin, B-I-R-K. Like,
they got an upgrade, I think, today. Let me just double check that. Yeah.
I'm not feeling that chart, man. Like, how much volume is that? It's 197. No.
Yeah, they did get an upgrade.
Yeah, no volume. Not enough volume for my liking there on Burke. But you know what? If you're trading it, all the power to you. I have no idea what to do with that. What to do with illiquid names like that. But if you do have a strategy that you're willing to share, I'm more than willing to listen there.
All right, I'm in Redfin, RDFN. It's up 22% today. It's coming into the 10 exponential on the 5. I may have gotten in a little too early over here because we're already about 6 pennies out of the said money. I'd like to see it hold up around here. Now, it's done this before, where it's come in and kind of breached a little bit the 10 exponential. If that's the case, that's fine. I have another level. If I get stopped out, which I will if it breaks that 28 penny area, so I have to risk a little bit. I'm all eyes and ears, Ob, and whatever other dang sensory perceptions my body will allow me to utilize, I will be looking to get in at around $11. Couple reasons. Very much near the 20 exponential on the 5. So if we give way at the 10, which is the green line, next line I'll be looking at is the 20. But you also have this area over here, which keeps me very interested in that 11-ish area. You have the area crest, right? This is as good as we could do between 1030 and 1035. We came back, we tested the 10 exponential, and then we moved up again. So if we get a deeper retracement this time into that $11 level, I will be looking to add at that level. But right now, I'm only 2 pennies out of the money as it's zagging, really not giving way up yet. Probably will, but not yet at the 10 exponential. Yeah, it feels a little weak here. Who knows? We'll see. So I put my out already, and if I get stopped out, I'm not letting this one off the hook. I really like it around 11 bucks. I just had to get in here because if it bounced off the 10 and didn't come back into the 20, I wanted to be a part of it. So we take a bit smaller size, and we'll look to get out if it does break that level. So RDFN, let me give you the deets on this one, 21.5% up on the day. It is not a small cap gapper. It is a $1.33 billion market cap. It's traded about 11.5 million shares on the day, and it has about a 114 million share float. And let's find out what the short float is. We had the NOS boss on today. Shout out to him and his crew there at Trade Eddies. Okay, I like you, Redfin. 16.86% of the 114 some odd million share float is shorted, so about 17% of said flow. So we could definitely get some, good parabolic moves here if we get these shorts on the ropes here at the right price. So we'll keep eyes on RDFN. Good name today, number 3 gap scanner up on, or the number 3 name up on my gap scanner. So we'll keep tabs on that. Now, where are my beak wetters? Let's find out. Let's find out what the price action here looks like so we can figure out exactly how to gauge areas of support and resistance. Let's look at the 15. Shout out to Ob. No, we have nothing on the 15. Okay, so we got to go back way, way back. All right, so we haven't been at the level that we're at now since the big boy Huadunk that came in August of last year. So it has been a year and change since we've been up at these levels, okay? So there's really not a whole lot to say other than there seems to be resistance at $11.50 prior to that big boy Huadunk last August. This is the area I'm talking about here. But, if you're really clear, 11.50, 12, I mean, you're looking at 14. Yeah, 14 seems to be the best. Yes, it is 14. Why? Look at this. So I have to zoom in a little bit over here. Look at this. You have 14 resistance over here. You clear 14, and then you come back and you use 14 as support, not for once or twice or even OB thrice, but multiple times here. It looks like about 5 or 6. So I'm going to be looking for possibly 14 here. That's the ideal scenario. Doesn't mean it gets there that day, but 14 definitely an interesting level as resistance on Redfin OB.
Yes, sir. I'm kind of just observing. I'm like going through some scans here. Patiently waiting. I just asked the chat, what's the next trade? Where is the next trade? I pulled up Amazon. I have Amazon kind of holding a bit of a level that it's been a bit of a multi-time frame that it's kind of respecting on the day today as a bit of support here. And just kind of pull that up to see what it's up to here on the book. Bears vs. Bull asking, you do SPY, Obi? Of course, yeah. Sometimes I will dabble in the arachnid myself, but no. It's kind of a chop sideways today. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely moves there. I think the short was absolutely beautiful as well. If you kind of rode the coattails of that Nvidia of the Nvidia technicals as well. And look, prior day high. Failure to follow through right there, a little bit of a double top at that 563. Again, let me know how you guys are viewing the SPY. Like what are your indicators or what are your things that give you probabilities that help you make decisions? I know Kyle trades that as well. So if you wanna chime in, I'm more than willing to kind of listen there. As of right now, looking very, very similar to that Nvidia chart for after this kind of this shake and bake kind of happens. The Powell see that flush, reclaim a VWAP right there, and then attempts to push the highs, failure to follow through, pulling back down into VWAP. But take a look at this, pretty much sideways on the day with a range high of 563, range low of 558 here. So let's see. I see people typing out in the chat different kind of tickers there. So that was a SPY. I do like the spider for the short there. I got to keep my eyes on Nvidia as well. Where's my multi-chart?
I'm gonna get stopped.
Frame. Okay, cool. It seems like Softy's coming to the downside. Amazon's coming to the downside, but at a support area, still holding above day low as of right now. Alpha is a little bit sideways chop. Nvidia is just, I like how Nvidia is looking for the short, man. I really do, but I got to keep that bias kind of quelled until we see some distinct difference happening on the tape or the chart. We're going to chop sideways right now on top of this 19.7. I still want to be a little bit more patient for that to potentially come in as of right now. But yeah, let's take a look at some of these tickers that you guys are pointing out, and maybe we can find the next trade there. More than willing, more than flexible to kind of assess different trades here. So Tesla is being pointed out by Odyssey Flights. Where are we thinking the price action will go with Tesla? Hey, man, I have no idea where the Tesla will take me, but I know it's going to be an electric ride, that's for sure. 214s. Again, I was talking to I think Max about this right off the open there. I did come in a little bit late there. Shout out to the traffic in Toronto, DVP. Here we go. 214s. 214s. Prior day, end of day consolidation highs, right? The aggressive selling comes in going into the imbalances and then continues to sell off through the imbalances. So I'm like, all right, where was that last kind of information that we had right before the close? Chop, 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 trend continuation, can't really bid. Look at that aggressive bid that does come in at 3 o'clock, can't get through that 214.12s or whatever it is, that 214 area. Coming in pre-market, chop, 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 214, still holding, and take a look at that right off of the open. Blast through that level. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We snap all the way up to 221s. So right there, a little bit of, if you're looking at that 214 as a bit of an over-under, which again, looking at this chart right away, I'm like, all right, what information do I have to work with here? That 214 stands out right away. End of day consolidation, high lows. I like those as well as pieces of information. And yeah, look at how that move kind of comes in off of the open there. But yeah, we're pretty much sideways now. The buying has definitely dissipated. We're orbiting VWAP as of right now. Look at the aggressive selling coming in here. So the question becomes, oh boy, there goes the spider. There goes Nvidia. Nvidia finally got to VWAP there. 127.76 this is looking beautiful. But let's see if those VWAP buyers that I was talking about earlier, can't forget about those guys if they show up once more here on Nvidia. I don't really see expanding volume going into that into this selling here as of right now. Maybe it'll come in with that 126.50 break. So this low, maybe some volume coming in on the break of this low definitely can be watched out for on that. But yeah, that's a little bit of Tesla. Let's go to the next one right here. Looking at Ali G saying, looking at Amazon, shocking. I know, right? But here's the thing: Amazon's kind of at a level that I'm interested in. What is that from? Oh, that's some sauce from prior days there.
Sauce. I like that.
But yeah, no, just holding some of these levels. Let's see if that 176 holds here on Amazon. Let's see. Was it DLV talking about SMTC short? What is Samtec? Samtec, isn't that a Canadian? I don't know. Semiconductors. Yeah. So I guess this one doesn't really do that much volume, 300K. So I'm not really gonna talk about it too much there. Upstart is what Evo Hugs is talking about. EVO Hugs. UPST, let's take a quick look at that one there. Oh boy, this market's really coming in. Let's go to the downside. Hello, Ford. I see you. I'm watching you a little bit closer now. All right, let's see if it can get to VWAP. A little bit of a side burner trade there on Ford. Let's see if that can come to fruition there. VWAP all the way down at 11.10s there, Sharif. So let's see if I can get a little bit of a 2-to-1 on this trade here with the reversion. Oh, yeah. I like reversions. Why? Because they show up anywhere and everywhere.
I don't
it's a natural occurrence of price action. It's been happening since the beginning of time.
Since the beginning of time.
Prices get overextended.
People say
markets
that, though.
Markets get overextended, overpriced, underpriced all the time.
And people talk about like fibs.
Reversion is
think about it. Like a lot of the stuff that we take it as indicators in trading is like a natural manifestation of real life. Right? So.
And it's like that's what I say. It's like I say this, but I'm still figuring out whether or not there's longevity in it. But when I like study like historical charts and historical markets, there's almost always been mispricing that's happened, and then markets eventually balance. And sometimes they can be out of balance for the longest time.
Sure.
And that's why if you try to keep reverting, and then you don't have the kind of bank or the type of risk to play that kind of game. Then you get blown out. So,
exactly.
You have to. Timing is everything. And again, being a day trader, timing is definitely a strong factor of playbook. What's up?
All right, nice man,
nice trade.
Yeah, so this was a good trade here. This got me out of some trouble. I just took about 75 pennies on CAVA. Shout out to Neil for calling this out. I saw him call it out in the chat. I pulled it up. It is up and to the dang right. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. It's unabated to the dang quarterback on the way up. What a move up here for CAVA. I'm just sad that I had to de-risk here. I took a larger position here, and I had to de-risk on the break of 123. I hate that I had to do that. I'd rather have added at that level, but in any event, that's just the way it goes. But here we are on the way up, baby, into 123.80. I took it all out at 75, and now we're printing 90s. Here comes 124 on CAVE. This thing blew earnings out of the dang water. While all its competitors, I don't want to call, McDonald's a competitor, but, they may be, because they're both in the fast food game. But this company just continues to defy what analysts are predicting. Well, look, Ram, I'm not saying this one to the exclusion of Chipotle. They can both be good. Obviously, Chipotle is very good. You saw the earnings. You saw what Starbucks did. They had to headhunt that nickel dude, right? So clearly they're doing something right. But what I mean to say is CAVA just listed like a year ago or a year and a half ago, I forget.
I remember the IPO.
Remember that?
Yeah, we traded that, yeah.
We traded it.
Yep.
And this company, there wasn't a whole lot of, I guess, people were not making much of it at the time. But ever since it's reported, man, ever since it listed, it's just been dominating. So here's what they're saying. The food quality is really good. Selection is good, and what they're saying is the selection, which is essentially the menu, the diversity of the menu. So it's absolutely killing it in that. Actually, before we send it to Neil, I'm going to get back into RDFN at 11:05. The beak wetter or the entry is already there. I'm looking to defend 11, so we'll see what we get when we get back from Neil's lesson of the day.
Welcome to the lesson of the day, and I know I'll right off the bat, I know this is going to sound like a broken record. So, there's simply no way to get around it today because if you saw what happened in the market, the NASDAQ right now is sitting doing this. So we had the dump off yesterday, and the NASDAQ is really about to test the lows and threaten to go negative. Now, obviously, there was this pop and fade idea or the notion to short pops that was part of the game plan for a lot of people. And I think a lot of times we can gloss over the whole, hey, the move was right. It was right to pop and fade, but maybe you got stopped out of this, you got stopped out of that. Leave the evaluation at that and don't do any more work as to how to get better with it. But I think it's important on a day like today where if your original thesis worked perfectly, I'm going to show you something with it. I'm going to start with GM because Obi was in 4, and I was looking at the same thing happening in General Motors, I think, here. And it comes down to if the market is trending against your thesis, when is that point to strike? Now, easy enough to say we had that event with Powell at 10, and when he left was maybe an opportunity. The other way to look at it is this trade, as Obi says, mean reversion and draw lines on a chart, which I keep coming back to because every time I wait for this type of a level on a stock which is trending against, I feel like I'm doing something wrong by not being more patient. So here's the daily chart on General Motors. Here is the consolidation after, this is the dump zone, and the consolidation support was at $48.20. So of course, is it getting to a level on the way up? Right into that previous level. There's your 48.20. Then you see it break out, continue to go. And instead of just being on the offer at that price, it breaks out at 48 going into that level. Then it looks like that's a curl that bounces off the level you want, and it's consolidating up there. But then I go back to look at what the trend is telling you. Higher low, higher low, higher low. You can connect these dots for the higher lows and simply say, I don't want to take the shot at this until it confirms it's broken this trend. So it breaks the flat bottom, confirms the trend. Now, if it breaks out this top, whatever. Whether you want to give it to the high of the day or something like this, to the 48.3, which I am going to do here, that's the name of the game. It's about having that extra patience. I'm using this one as the example just because I happen to be in it. But the other way to look at this would be, let's go to something like a Tesla, which I was in all the way into that 20 level. You can see it. It's pretty clear, over and over and over again. I'm shorting back in the 20. I had a couple of good winning trades in there, but ultimately you're still going to the upside. And when you just connect the dots, it's making higher lows, it's making higher lows. There's one trend that it blows away from. So it blows away from that trend line, and then it does this one. Oops, let me draw it a little bit cleaner for you. So it puts in these higher lows here on Tesla, and oh, look at that. This is the break away from this trend. There's your higher lows. What happens when it breaks that trend? It speaks for itself. And I can do it one more time in here when I started shorting, a short that I'm not even in right now, but I'm looking to reload. There's another one. It makes another bottom. There's another trend. There is a break of the trend. So a lot of times you look for something like this just to give you a little bit of confirmation that the rip your face off part is over and some trails are going to come out. And partly because longs tend to look at stuff like this as well. Like if you're long the trend, where am I going to take profit? That's what I do when I'm in a long trade. I draw some trend lines and say, I'm getting out if it gets past this level. So if I'm doing that when I'm long, why am I not waiting for that when we're talking about short positions as well? You're never going to get the absolute top or bottom. Like sometimes there's a little bit of luck involved with that. You can like the level. Sometimes it tags it. Sometimes it breaks it. If it tags it, great. If it breaks it, you're going to end up missing and hope to get back in. Or you let it run, everybody stops when the trend is up, wait for the back end of it, and then still be able to capture some kind of a winning trade. Now, obviously, just to give you an idea, because I'm in this, well, I'm looking to get back in on this trend, I'm going to cancel this order on Tesla. You can see this same support level, which is showing up here at 216. Entirely possible that you've got a higher level support, and it's just going to go right back in. Once one trend line is gone, simply get rid of it. It's no longer valid, and then wait till it confirms something else. It just comes down to patience. And I saw, I think I saw a lot of people talking about Rivian as well. So I want to quickly point this on Rivian. Look at how strong Rivian has been. Now, wherever you choose to do this, if you do it from the highs, it doesn't always work. You would have tried shorting here and stopped out. The same trend line is gone, so I would get rid of that and then look at that previous low. So you're 0 for 1 on Rivian. It breaks the trend again. You probably take that short. Maybe you get 10 cents out of it, and you might be getting stopped out again. But this is exactly what I would wait for. At least when you're taking your shots on something like a Rivian, you're getting in here, you can set a stop there, it breaks out, you're done. And then you move on to the next thing. Because if it just trends and trends and trends and trends up, then every single resistance level that you put in there is going to keep getting tested. So you just got to take that turn, have some kind of a plan of action that allows you to get it on the other side of the trade. It's one thing for just a false break at an even dollar. It goes to $100, false break of 100, get it back underneath. I love that trade. But not every turn is going to look like that. So you have to have some kind of a mechanism. For myself, I know Obi's looking at these too. Like you go for those trend lines. Maybe you've got moving averages that you want to use. Maybe you've got Fibonacci. I have no idea. But whatever it is, you've got to find something. So when you're screaming in one direction and you want to do a reversion trade, short a pop, whatever it might be, you have something that allows you to be patient and then join a move back into the downside instead of stepping in front of that moving freight train. Now, you're never going to stop doing these things altogether. I promise you at some point you're going to see me, it gets to the level, I'm in a little bit early, I get out, and I try to find my way back into the right trade. But if you can constantly try to develop a plan that's better, that's all you can do as a trader. You are never going to reduce to zero the FOMO, the early entries, all that stuff. But you can start to see some patterns that allow you to reduce those to zero or close to zero as possible. I find trend lines help. If you find a major moving average helps, whatever it takes. Your lesson of the day here, it's all well and good to have a plan of action on a direction and be right. It's just a matter of getting the entry. And that entry when you're against the grain can be tricky. So make sure you're properly evaluating the entries and exits on the way in so that you can judge the trade not based on whether it worked when you look back at the end of the day, but whether it was actually executable based on your plan. And if it's not, come up with a new entry plan. The pop and fade was correct today. But if it wasn't working the way I was trading it on Tesla, then I have to execute differently. It's that simple. It doesn't matter that the call was right. Have to be able to change your execution plan if you couldn't get the win, regardless of direction. That's your lesson of the day.
Thank you very much, Neil. You guys know what I'm going to say. Informative, eloquent, and awesome as always. Neil Roberts every day around that lunch hour. He drops hot lines around these parts. We call it Neilage. And he is a well-known hotline dropper, OB.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of the look.
It's that hotline bling.
Dara would not be happy with that right now. She doesn't really like him.
You didn't like Drake?
No.
Oh, okay, fair.
Not at all.
I mean, old Drake is dope.
Yeah, well, actually, she does like old Drake. So shout out to Ram Ram.
I don't know what new Drake is up to.
What's going on up there, Ram Ram? Did you key my car? Yeah. Ram Ram threatened to... Yeah, I offer it to people too, Katina, man. Yeah. But she threatened to key my car today. I know. I was like, that's a little aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, all right, I'm long CAVA now, 11.09. Sorry, not CAVA, Redfin. So this is going to be an $11 defend. Come what may, the stop is already in place. It has to hold up here or the trade is over. We're already 3 pennies out of the money. I'm going to give this a couple of pennies below 11 bucks. And obviously, you see the area crest. It's below 11. It's like 10.95. That has to influence your stop placement as well. The stop is not where you want it to be. It's where the price action dictates, okay? So right here, I'm seeing 10.95, so I have to account for that. Oh, if I can send it to you for a sec while I put in my stops.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so the market's kind of coming in there. We were talking about that, making decisions around that 19.7. We are breaking down below that 19.7. So I'm looking at the hourly candles here. Prior bar low break on Nvidia. Prior bar low is at 127.30. We're coming into that 127.30 right here. That's that low right there from earlier on in this hour. Again. Right, so let's see what we do in and around there. Do we catch a little bit of a bid? Oh boy, all right. So we did bid up about 30 pennies right there aggressively off of that. But again, this is still kind of that VWAP area. We've been churning and chopping in that VWAP area. Market's closing into lows. Nvidia is still holding some of these prior higher lows as well on the day. So let's see what that can bring in. Odyssey Flight saying Tesla coming in. All right, let's look at Tesla, man. Tesla, where is that coming into? Yeah, looking kind of similar here. A lot of the Mag 7s looking kind of similar in terms of price action there. Move off the open, flush down into VWAP, VWAP reclaim, attempts to push highs, can't really make it, flushing back down through VWAP as of right now. Similar story kind of happening, different prices, different magnitudes. Let's see, okay, just reading the chat here. Shorted RDFN, Redfin. Nice. Let's say, have you looked at
against me here,
RDFN? Oh, are you in RDFN? Okay, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, like, hey,
you're getting long.
See it? Yeah, I'm already long.
I like that. Kind of like holding, like the trend is to the upside. We talk about trend deceleration, right? This is an accelerated trend. We pull back in, hold VWAP, and then we accelerate again, and we take a little bit of a stronger pullback above VWAP. Let's see if we hold trend again. Similar kind of story as before, different kind of, it's like expanding range, right? The trend range is expanding, trend decelerating, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Candles, bigger. Yeah, but no, you look at higher time frame, look. The red candles are bigger. You know what I mean? They're shorter before, candles bigger. Price expansion happening as of right now. So the range is a little bit wider, but let's see what we do with this market here. If we do come back into that hourly low, I'm gonna be watching Nvidia for that. Oh boy, Amazon.
Oh,
Amazon broke that support level. Wow. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. I think a little bit of potential indication for a potential pullback. Look at the spider coming into day lows there, Sharif. Oh boy, did we break day lows? Prior low 558, 558.35. Current low, 558.30. Big. Smile, Burdette.
I thought you were going to say big candles.
Definitely right on short in the pops, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to you. What's your price right now? Kyle, are you short right now? I'm curious. What's your what prices you got? I want to know.
Let's hear it, Big Smile. Tag us in the chat, Obi or I. Obi is in the chat, by the way, guys. So you guys can tag Obi. And it probably behooves me to remind you that the afternoon rundown is not a segment without viewer input, all right? So you got to get into the chat right now. Vote for your favorite tickers, right? There's a whole bunch of people voting earlier. Let's see exactly what people voted for. Let me just move up there and have a look. Because every day, the Katina Man and the Neil, they'll look at the tickers as selected by you guys. But you should know that only the top 5 tickers make it on. So let's see what people are voting for over here. I gotta go up a little bit because we haven't talked about it in a hot minute. All right, here we go. People voting for XOM, Strong Start Trading. He wants to see XOM. What are other people talk? MNTS being talked about here by some people in the chat. Which names do you guys want Neil and Sean to look at for you? Is it Tesla? The Big Spile's got like $100 winner on Tesla. Is it the SPY? Obi talking about we just broke the SPY earlier today. So keep that in mind. Is it Starbucks? I see you guys here. Some people voted for Starbucks earlier. Get into the chat, guys. Every day from 11 till around 2, or actually 1:50 is the cutoff time. You can vote every day for the tickers as decided by you, Neil and Sean, the big kahunas as we call them. They'll look at them for you. And if they didn't trade it, they'll say why or how they would have traded. So make sure you're getting your vote in every day, and only the top 5 make it on. So you got to tell other people to vote your way too.
Top 5.
Yeah, top 5. Yeah, he's got another home for a little while. Are we talking about the same top 5 Toronto rapper?
Yeah.
He's in jail.
Oh,
He's been in jail for a hot minute.
I just know there was a I don't
top
know,
5
like,
rappers.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
like a
got you,
top
okay.
5. Like, it's like I don't know where it's from, but like my brain kind of brings back in like
No, there's a
random
Toronto
snippets.
rapper called Top 5.
Okay, no, I
and
don't
yeah,
know
he
too
went
much.
down for murder 1.
Oh,
so,
damn.
yeah.
Okay. All
He's
right.
in jail. He's locked up. All right.
Let him
So
out.
I'm involved in Redfin right now. I'm exactly flat on this trade, but I've already explained what I'm doing with this bad boy. It breaks this area crest. That's the end of the trade. I'm looking for it to hold 11 to move up. 11 happened to be the 20 exponential on the 5 as well. It doesn't hold up at 11. I'm not taking any hard feelings away from this trade. I'll look for the next one, as Obi likes to say. Let's talk about some other names that are moving. I can't believe CAVA is $2 from where I got out. And we thought we had a winner on this one, guys. We took about 75 pennies on this bad boy, and it would have given me much, much, much more. A lesson in context, trust these moving averages. This is what we were talking about when we talked about price action confirmation using the moving averages yesterday. Look at this. It doesn't even touch the 10, okay? So great look right now for CAVA. Very strong name, but that's not the only one. And there is strength in this market, believe it or not. Peloton got a downgrade today, but they actually did really a lot better than a lot of people were expecting on earnings. Another name with absolute respect today with the 10 exponential on the 5, and you've got no closing prints south of that 10 exponential, which is the green line on my charts. Sure, you've got a couple of wicks here and there, but you need to account for that. There's more strength, believe it or not, and it comes vis-a-vis Zoom, ZM, second day play. Reported fantastic earnings yesterday, and the buying continues today. Up nicely here, up that $68 print, all the way up into 786. Possible double top at the 71-ish area, 70.86, but it even hasn't given way to the 10 exponential on the 5. So there's lots of strength still in this name, ZM. So these are 3 possible, non-Mag 7 names that you could be interested in. Target is also a holdover from yesterday. It's not the parabolic mover that it was like in the pre-market the day before yesterday. It's still very much an inside day from yesterday's price action. We're ensconced from the north and the south side. But it's up 1 1/5 on the day, and it's at the volume-weighted average price. So possible key decisions to be made in and around that level. There's all the other one, the small cap gapper that I was trading earlier, PRTG, very much still in play. Looks like it's kind of consolidating at the moment, but it's holding above the volume-weighted average price. What does that mean? Well, it means that people are buying it at that level. That's why, right? So that's what I'm looking for there. And there's a specific trade that I talk about with these small cap gappers called essentially the VWAP hold high of daybreak. And what you're looking for here is a big move up in the more liquid morning. And then, maybe up until 11 o'clock, you get that gnarly price action. And then what ends up happening is it consolidates sideways, much like it is right now during the afternoon. And then the big kahunas come on around 2:30, 3, and we get that big move up to test that high of day. Hence why I call it the VWAP hold high of day break. Keep your eye out for that kind of trade. It doesn't always manifest, but when it does, it can be quite lucrative. So that's another trade we could have on this one. Big tech right now, there's all sorts of blood. We're right back below 19.7 again. We're trying to hold up at 19,650. Generally, that was the area low, even though we got all the way down into about I think 19,625 or around that area. So all sorts of weakness right now on the market. And to be quite honest with you, I was on my walk when Jerome Powell was talking, so I didn't get to hear what he said. But as the day went on, I started getting little bits and pieces. He's not concerned about upside inflation anymore. What he's concerned about is downside employment numbers. That's not good. I don't want to hear that, right? And so I think that that's what we're reacting to into the market here, especially building on the NFPs that we got a couple of weeks ago, which obviously missed by over 100,000 jobs. So you add the balance of the evidence together and, the market's feeling a little wishy-washy. Add to that the election coming up and the uncertainty about that. So there's all sorts of stuff to, worry about here. And I've had this bias, and I'm going to continue to have this bias. I think we whiffle, we waffle, we don't make a new high on the NQ or the ES until after the election. That's just my bias, but that's all I'm going to go on about that. So still involved right now in RDFN, about 3 pennies out of the money as it's printing, 4 pennies out of the money now as it's printing 05s. If this breaks this area crest, we're going to be gone. But it is now time to start the lesson of the day. I'm just going to make sure that I've got all my stops in place so that I don't need to worry about this one. And I'm just going to I'm going to do it again just to make sure that I'm all good on that area. You can come to me because I'm going to put in my stops. Yeah. So we'll put it, around there. And then we'll basically just keep it in. I'll have to give it a bit of room here. So there it is. Let me just make sure that that's for the correct amount. I didn't even look at the amount there. Eek. But I have to send it to you because I have to do this again. Yeah, no worries.
Kind of watching this bit of a trend hold happening here on the chip leader on Nvidia. You guys have heard about that ticker before.
All right.
Take a look at this. Reject higher time frame resistance. Break a consolidation low. Look at that nice little clean. I'm sure if I threw up a moving average, actually I'll do that right now on my other chart to see if that's actually coming in. Beautiful, yeah. You throw on an 8 moving average. The 8 moving actually broke down right here, and we're starting to hold that as a resistance to the downside. Now, whether you use a line, again, you guys were listening to Neil earlier, whether you use a line, whether you use a moving average, whether you use any sort of trend indicator, you can see that the trend, oh boy, look at that. Okay, we're coming in. Let's see, we did kind of violate that hourly low. We're chopping underneath the VWAP through that day, not day low, the prior low right here, 126.50s, but if the market kind of comes into that 19.6 area there, I think, again, the probabilities of this low testing obviously increase as well. And there's another trade I'm kind of looking for. I'm patiently waiting. We talk about sniping. These stonks, right, Sharif? So
Okay, yeah.
I know you were involved in this one, but I'm looking for a trend break on this ticker here.
Ooh, CAVA. I like it.
When that trend breaks, I definitely want to be involved. It did break here a little earlier. We pull back in. Sure, you're not going to get a full-on reversion. You didn't even get a 33% reversion, but we took a leg back up. It's past 12 o'clock, so middle of the day right now. On CAVA group, sure, it's doing a lot of volume. The volume's kind of sustained. Our vol, 11 to 12. So the reversion might take a little bit longer than normal. It might not come at all, but I'm going to be watching this. Let's take a quick look left on this chart here to see if there's any points of resistance over here. Are there any? Are these all-time highs on CAVA? That's the next question, because I went to the daily, I went to the hourly, and there's none to be seen. This is the daily. Oh boy, all right, cool. So I guess, that was the IPO. These are all-time highs here on CAVA today, so maybe I don't want to mess with the reversion just yet. On that one, that is a piece of information that may or may not make a bit of a difference, perhaps. We are testing uncharted waters here on CAVA Group, or I guess they for a second I thought they were Carvana. They're not. They're the restaurant group, right?
Yes.
They're a restaurant holding group. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So let's see if CAVA can have something for us later on. But yeah, I'll be watching for that break-in trend. Let's see if it bids up all day. I'll be surprised. Volume has been dropping off of the morning session, but look at that. Since that little bit of a pullback, we've just sustained volume throughout this bid back up into 125s. Again, 125. So when we're in uncharted waters, some people like to call them blue skies, whatever you want to call them. Psychological levels definitely is something that I start to consider. That 125 is holding as of a high right now, but the trend is extremely strong on maybe some volume picking up as well. So let's see if that kind of comes in here. But market's coming in, sure.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes,
certainly.
just made a fresh low. So I'm gonna assume that Kyle is laughing straight to the bank.
Probably. He's like, I'm now big smile, get down, go red. Shout out to Big Kyle Burnett, man. I want to cover this real quick before we start the lesson. Johnny Nadal asking about Lucid. Here it is. Lucid, good day for it today. 7.8%, 42.5 million shares traded on the day. You're up and to the right. You just broke, though, the 10 exponential and now the 20. So I like it, Johnny. It looks great today. You got to size up, obviously, into this name to make any sort of real money on this bad boy. First area I'm looking, 410. I'd like to see it hold up at the volume-weighted average price. That's if it gives way at the 20 exponential. The next area I'm looking is the IB high right there at around 407. This area crest, if it doesn't hold up there, then kind of to me, you're taking it back short, maybe down to 385 or whatever, 4. But yeah, good look for you. Breaking some levels right now off that 4.25, 423 technically, down to 415. I'm all eyes and ears. I want to see exactly what it does at around 410. 410 doesn't hold. Then I'm looking at that 407. Shout out to the highway. All right, let's go over here to using moving averages, guys, as areas of support and resistance. That is a lesson for today, our last lesson of the week. We will continue, though, with the moving average lessons into next week. So let's start, as we typically do, just by explaining some of the more basic concepts. In this case, we're going to talk about support and resistance. Support and resistance levels, essentially what they are price points where security tends to either pause or reverse, okay? Support levels, as opposed to resistance, support levels are where buyers are more likely to enter the market, while resistance levels are where sellers are more likely to enter the market. And by selling here, you don't have to be short. You could be long and then looking to take your position out. You're still a seller entering the market, okay? So that's what we're talking about there. Support, where buyers enter, resistance, where sellers enter. So how do we use moving averages to gauge these areas of support and resistance? Well, they can be effective tools, obviously, for IDing them. When the price touches or breaks through a moving average, that's the operative part here. It can signal a potential reversal or continuation, really depending on the context, and that's what we're going to talk about. But when we talk about moving averages as support and resistance, we need to understand that you can use them separately, like the 200 on its own. The 200 simple moving average can be a support level and a resistance level all on its own, and that's fine. That's totally valid. But what we're going to talk about today is using pairs. And the two pairs we're going to talk about initially are the two ones we talked about yesterday, but from a different light. The first one is the 50 and the 200-day moving average. Let me just load up RDFN on my side chart so I can know what's up. Oh, wow. Okay, so we're back break even on this. So let's see if it moves up a little bit here on RDFN. All right, so the first 50 and the 200-day simple moving average. Why do we use simple in this case? Because this is a long-term indicator pair. Okay, and if you're looking for a more long-term, you don't need to use the exponential. The exponential, I would submit to you, is better suited for the shorter-term trading and shorter-term trading time frames, what I mean to say. And the reason is because it more heavily weights the more recent price action than it does the historical price action. So when you're not looking to more heavily weight on a shorter-term time frame, simple moving average will suffice. So how do we use it? When the price touches or pulls back to the 50 SMA, it can act as a potential support level. Conversely, when the price touches or pulls back to the 200 SMA, it can act as a potential resistance level. And what you're looking for in this particular instance is if the price constantly bounces off the SMA, it suggests to you strong support. Conversely, if it fails to break the 200 SMA, it suggests to you strong resistance. Now, all this is basically presupposing that the 50 is below the 200 in this case, okay? That's what the presupposition here is. It doesn't have to be that way, obviously. The 200 can absolutely be below the 50, depending on what the price action has been like. The waiting time here, how long you should wait to try and gauge what's happening. So the waiting time can vary, obviously, depending on the market conditions. However, a common strategy in this particular instance is to wait for the retest of the support or resistance level after the breakout or the breakdown. So if you basically breached the 200 as an area of resistance, and now you're above the 200 by a little bit, one method is to wait for the price action to come back down to the 200 to retest it. Yeah, I thought you had something to add. Something you want to wait for the price to come back down to retest it. Now, obviously, that strategy has some weaknesses, being that you might miss a price action entirely because it doesn't have to come back and test that previous area of resistance, now support. Some indicators that you can use to help your analysis using the 50 and the 200 is on balance volume. And it's to confirm essentially the strength of the support or resistance. If the OBV is increasing as the price approaches support, it suggests to you that there is strong buying pressure and that area, could bounce off. The other two pairs that we want to talk, or the other pair, that we want to talk about is the 20-day and the 50-day exponential moving average, the EMA. Very similar way in its use to the 50 and the 200. So you're looking here as for support to bounce off the 20, to reject the 50. Again, this is presupposing that the 50 is on top of the 20. And what to look for, the same principles apply. In this case, you're looking for consistent bounces off the 20 or consistent rejections off the 50. And the waiting time has to be a little bit shorter here than what you would have waited in the 50-200 combination because it's a shorter term time frame. So by definition, you should be waiting a little bit less for the price action to confirm. And some of the key indicators that you can use here, Ram, are momentum indicators like RSI, stochastic oscillators. And what you're looking for here is a divergence between price and the indicators. And that can suggest to you a potential reversal coming up. Don't necessarily need to see that, but that's one of the things you should be on the lookout for. Some strategies, though, for using these moving averages as areas of support and resistance. Obviously, like we always do, we look to buy at key areas of support. So when the price touches or pulls back to a moving average, which we would glean here as a support level, you can consider that as an entry point and you can buy there. You should also be looking possibly to sell into resistance if that fits into your plan. When the price touches or pulls back to a moving average, the resistance level, consider selling as a potential exit point. But you should also be on the lookout for breakouts or breakdowns. So if the price breaks above a resistance level or below a support level, it can signal a strong trend change. And we always call that the winds of change may be coming to these markets, and then you may need to revisit your trading setup there. It may no longer be valid. You always guys hear me talk about, if it breaches this level, it breaches that level, my level is no longer valid. And the retests, I can't stress this enough because it's a key method here, and it really does help. After the breakout or the breakdown, depending on which way we're going, the price may, underline that, may retest the former area of support or resistance, and this can provide you an entry or exit trade. And I made the point earlier about the Caterpillar 300 and how I thought I would never get CAT at 300 again, and especially because once it pulled down off that earnings day, it found support at that $20, $25 area, and then it rocketed back up and made a new high at 370 or something like that. Yeah. And so then Black Monday came in, and I did get my 300 buying opportunity. So lo and behold, okay? So just keep that in mind. Those retests of key areas of support, even though 300 is not a moving average, the principle is sound here. And last but not least, tips for using some of these moving averages as support and resistance. You should definitely be considering the market. Oh, baby, I'm printing up a storm here on Redfin. All right, 2 outs already, and I have another. We have 2 more outs still on this OB. So, yeah, I'm very happy that I packed my patience with this trade. I'm putting it here at 40s, and then the last out we're going to put right in front of 50s OB. So that's the look there. We're going to go 11. Oops. We're going to go... not buy, that's wrong, 1148. And we'll look to take out everything at that level. So please this dang punch with this trade. And I'm sorry to have interrupted the lesson, but it was only a trade I'm in, and we're like about 25 pennies in the money. So considering market conditions is absolutely necessary if you're going to use moving averages. And the reason is they're all but useless in consolidative markets. You will get so many false signals with these crossovers, you're going to want to pull out your hair and quit trading, okay? So make sure you understand what context the market is in before you employ these indicators that may be next to useless. So volatile markets, extreme volatility, and consolidative markets really are the antithesis of moving averages. Second point here. Combined with other indicators, we kind of gave you some ideas about which indicators to use with these moving average pairs: on balance volume, stochastics, as well as the RSI. And we did a nice little tidbit there with RSI yesterday. And adjust the moving average periods. I made this point so many times. The Katina man, he loves the SMAs, and he has the 50, and he has the 200. Neil is also of the same kind of thinking. I like the 10, the 20, and the 50, and the 200 EMA. Ob likes the 8. Adira likes the 9. So experiment with different time frames. See what jives with your methodology, what jives with your kind of trading style, and the time frame off which you're trading. The NOS boss will have a different time frame than the Katina man. The NOS boss swing trades, the Katina man intraday trades. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that they would maybe necessarily use the same moving averages. If they did, great. And that's all that I really have to say about that, Ob. That's the end of the lesson. No problem.
Solid lesson there on moving averages different ways.
Oh, you're muted, Ob.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Sharif. Solid lesson on moving averages, how to use them, how they can be used, and kind of perspectives of that can be had for those moving averages. And yeah, definitely a point that he said there at the end there, in a sideways consolidative market, where again you can see that if nothing's too sideways as of right now, but again, I guess Alphabet. But even then, maybe there are some moving averages that might be working on that one. But if things get really rangy, yeah, they're not going to be as useful at all. That's where you want to be using. So there's trending indicators, and then there's oscillating indicators as well, right? So in a range bound with range bound price action, you want to go for the oscillating indicators, and then in a trend bound market, yeah, you want to be using some of those trend indicators like moving averages and stuff like that. So yeah, Rogelio saying, oh boy, yes, for sure. Oh boy, indeed. Oh boy, this chart is making me say, oh boy, Sharif. Wow, CAVA can't stop, won't stop. Unreal. I might as well just get long. I got to do better with getting involved with trend trades. I might just get long and risk prior bar low on that one. But I'm just so, sometimes I'm just so itchy for the reversion, man. I'm just gonna wait here. I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna sit on my hands. Let that beautiful chart kind of play out, go to the upside, CAVA. But when you start to fall apart and the longs rush for the door, I definitely want to be there as the man at the door. So, be like, all right, come on down. You've had a fun party all day. I will, I don't know, that's too much ego. But that's the joke. 125 holding as of right now. Got a little bit long here on top of VWAP on the Nvidia, but it is coming in like some strong selling there. But let's see if it holds some of these prior lows here. Bit of a range compression. You see that. You see a little bit better here as well. So we've been making lower highs and then higher lows as well. So a little bit of a flag forming here on the Nvidia. Let's see if we can break down this 127. Long on top of VWAP here. Oh boy. All right. So we're about 40 pennies out of the money there. Right. I gotta probably deal with that one soon enough if it'll come down into those lows. But let's see. Market, that wick off of 19.7. Oh boy, I did not notice that one. So yeah, we might be poised to trade a little bit lower here as Apple makes fresh low of days here on. Okay, all right. You know what? I need to get out of this one, Sharif. So I had to stay.
The Katina man's $2 in the money on the Apple short, by the way. Look, I had something to ask you there, but yes. I forgot what it was. Now, look at this. This is so annoying. Redfin, now I'm out of the money. We were just 30 pennies in the money. Now we're 1 penny out of the money as it comes back into test 11. I don't mind this retest. I'm not going to add to it because I have the position size. They already want, okay, so this kind of makes me feel good. It comes back into 11 and then it just bounces back up 10 pennies real quick. Let's see if it can continue to move up. No, this is the type of position that I can be in all afternoon before I get the print. Right? Because it's made its move, and now it may not continue its move until the more liquid time period comes in, and that liquid time period, I would submit to you, is still an hour and 15 minutes away. This is Goolsby dropping a story. Is that him right there? Oh, the Ghouls man. The Ghouls man is on CNBS, and he's talking up a storm right now, so we're going to find out what he's saying. Goolsby. All right, here it is. He had three sessions today, Ob, to talk up a storm. Here, let's talk. Fed's Goolsby says support. Fed's new focus on job market inflation is on the path to 2%. Thanks, bro. All right, here's the other one. Fed's Goolsby says policy now at its tightest point of the entire hike cycle. Current Fed funds rate set for different economic conditions. Fed forecast show widespread support for rate cuts. Everything we wanted to happen to get rates down has happened. So why are they still up, bruh? So that's a look there. Let's keep going and see what else he's saying. Here it is. Fed's Goolsby says, by almost all measures, the job market is cooling, doesn't like to offer firm guidance about Fed rate decisions. Well, that's kind of what Papa said today. He wasn't happy about the job market either, and that's why I feel we are kind of bearish on the day. Fed's Goolsby, everything we wanted to happen, okay, you already said that. And then last but not least, Fed's Goolsby, everything we wanted, okay, so yeah. Everything we wanted to have, yeah, so that's just repetitive. I'm sorry about that, guys. So yeah, he's talking right now. I try to resist committing myself to monetary policy, he says. Fine, okay. So he's talking right now, I believe. And so as we get more information, obviously we'll share that with you. What's the look over here? What's the look on your side, Ob?
Not much. So yeah, that aggressive selling did come in there, and I guess I didn't necessarily have a stop at the break of the trend. But again, I'm kind of managing risk with share sizing as of right now. Bought some more there on top of that 127 as we kind of pop back above that 19.6. So we dropped down 100 points on that last candle there, 19.7 to 19.6. Let's see, catching a little bit of a slowdown here. I don't want to call it a bid just yet. A little bit of a slowdown here on top of this 127. Let's see if we can kind of continue this chip chop on this Nvidia as this chip chops around on the day today below VWAP now. Let's see if we can get that pop back up into VWAP, or does the selling continue to the downside? I have no idea, but kind of waiting to see what this 19.6 does as of right now. But yeah, with the Jackson Hole kind of going on, and a lot of Kyle in the chat, a lot of Fed speakers kind of coming in and out. We do have to be a little bit wary with some of the volatility that may come in with things that might be being said, if that's the right word. Yeah, breaking news. Goolsby said, "Get low." Low.
MNTS is halted, guys. Here we go. Another small cap gapper showing up on my scanner. $27 million market cap. Let me flip to the 1 minute here. This is the daily. So you can see that we were moving big boy yesterday in MNTS. We were a 57 penny name. By the end of the day, we were $1.50. Okay. So good move there. Another higher high and higher low today. The wick came into 90 pennies, but we're well above that. We opened at $1.40. The current print 167 on MNTS. Halted to the downside. We had 3 halts on the way up. First down halt, well above the volume weighted average price. And let me tell you, it's my estimation that these halts, although makes it very hard to trade, they respect these moving averages. And so what I've seen before is you get these halts and they halt right at the moving average or above it. So sometimes it's a good entry to get in. So I'm going to be all on eyes and ears. Let's load up MNTS, see if we can trade this bad boy as well. We'll take off CAVA here. I can't believe this thing's $2.50 from where I got in. Unreal, bro. So you know what? We should probably leave that on because we may trade that again. So let's load up MNTS over here. MNTS. There we go. And now it's okay. So it's open. Here it is. trading at $1.70. The halt level, guys, was $1.66. Let's see if it holds up above that level. Again, the volume weighted average price right now on MNTS at about $1.33. There are a couple of other support levels we can use, or a couple of other halt levels we can use as support. That $1.53, $1.52, right in front of the $1.50. This area over here could be an area of support. We'll see. I need to see this one curl up, guys. It's already big boy. It's already up 193%. $27 million market cap, 157 million shares traded on the day, and a 16.5 million share float. Let's find out what the short is, or the short float is on this one, MNTS. It is 3%, so not big and not really anything to write home about. But this one is in play, now up 200%, looking to go back above that $1.75. It halted. Essentially, the last up halt here was at 175. So let's see if it's able to break above that and maybe weasel back into two. Higher day right now, 204, Ob.
Yeah, so we're catching a little bit of a bid there off of that 19.6 as of right now. How much time is left on this 15-minute candle to print, I ask? 10 minutes and 54 seconds. Let's see if we can reclaim this 127 here on Nvidia, with the market potentially trying to catch a little bit of a bid, but that sell-off was aggressive again, with some Fed speak happening as of right now. Across the board, a lot of selling potentially coming in here. Got to keep eyes on a few of these names here. Amazon still selling off. Softy continues to make some fresh lows there. Let's see the Spider. Yeah, definitely that shorting the pops on the Spider. We're definitely paying off today. Softy, interestingly, high a day is 419.34 there, Sharif. So so close.
It's almost the weekend, though. I feel you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, Ram?
Yeah, let's see that 127 reclaiming as of right now. Let's see if we can get a little bit of reversion off of that strong selling that did come in there. I'm not looking for too much. I'm looking for just a little bit of a pop back up into that VWAP area here as 127 comes in. Let's see, there it is. I see Sharif pumping his fists. Those guns coming out. Bro, I got to be careful. Like, you flex too hard. Something might fly, like Trendla.
Well, I don't care about Trenda, bro. Ken Trenda, whatever. We're just joking. All right, we're long here on MNTS after the haul, and boom, we'll take that one up to the upside. 18 penny winner, woo! No, I'm kidding, of course. I'm happy I'm trading this though, right? Because this one, I didn't take as big of a position in MNTS as I have in RDFN, but we'll look to, we'll dabble in it. I'll get back in if it comes back to test that $1.70. I like that 170 area, and I placed my stop right below the previous halt level at $1.65, sorry, at $1.62, just a couple of pennies below this halt level over here, and we just wet our beak there on a little winner. Nothing to write home about, but we're gonna do what we can up here. All right, back to Redfin. Defended 11 again. So a couple of defends right now at that 11, and now we're putting in a bit of a higher low. I need to see a higher high. A higher high takes me above 1130, right? So if we're not putting in higher highs here, I have to question this whole trade. So we'll see if we can take out something. Well, I've got it out at 39s, and then I'll have one more out there, and I'll look to take out at the $0.50. But first, we got to get above that $1.11 1/3. Here comes 11 1/5. Now we're printing the fifth. Let's see if we print the quarter. Up 20% here on RDFN. All right, here 21s, 22s coming in.
Get that aggressive bid. Oh boy.
We're moving up on the market? Yeah, cover it.
We just, no, I'm just saying that bid is so aggressive, dude. We talk about that bounce off 19.6. We blast all the way back up. Let's see if we can get to that 19.7 now with that bid. I was like, the bid's not there just yet, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep buying this as I feel better and better about it there. But let's see if that bid can come in. 19.7, a bit of a wick shimmy dance, as Sharif likes to say, on that previous candle, 15-minute candle there. A test from 19.7 all the way down to 19.6 as we failed to follow through 19.6. Rebid back above 19.620, and now we're getting that volume kind of coming back in. But yeah, that sell-off was kind of aggressive there, and a bit of a reversion of that selling there, Sharif. That's kind of what I wanted.
Yeah, no worries, Ob. All right, we're at 27s now, and we're at 28s. All right, I'm taking out a bit here. Let's see if we can get filled. Come on, print. Oh, no, we're not going to get the print. So maybe it's the world telling me that I shouldn't be taking it out there. Mother Market, Ob, is telling me that I should wait for 11:40.
You got to listen when she's
yeah, well,
speaking.
Mother Market knows. So we're going to do what Mother Market says. We're going to go 11:39, and we're going to look to take it out there if we can get something there. All right. So, yeah, the reason I de-risk is because I know that this is an obvious area of resistance, this 11:30. So I don't want to be, locked in a range where we're trading between 11 and 11:30. I'd rather just take this as a breakout trade, and if we're going to range, then I want to get out near the high. I saw somebody there in the chat I was really happy to see. They said MNTS was good for them. So let's see. Who was it that said MNTS? Oh, I think I lost it there, but I told them, like, hey, did you? Yeah, Shark, 2003. Looks like he traded MNTS or they traded MNTS. Let me know how you did. Oh, he says, or they say, I was in and out of MNTS, made $70 in 2 minutes on 300 shares. Shout out to you, my guy. That is the modus operandi here, to take some scalps on this name. It keeps you out of trouble. And if it works for you, keep doing it over and over until it doesn't. So that's a look. They're happy with this trade and looking for the next one. CAVA coming back in here, Ob. So could we have a possible entry here on CAVA? There is this interesting level, 124.50. We whiffled and waffled at 124.50 before breaking it on a decisive basis through that 125 and a fifth. Then we came back and tested 124.50, and it seems to have held, at least on this 1 minute chart over here. So if we come back into that level, you could have something maybe resting there with a tight stop, like 10 or 15 pennies below that. Because this thing's given dollars at a time, guys, right? So it's a fantastic look today for CAVA. It's just about getting in at the right time. Good look there. Yeah, Redfin, we're still below the third of a dollar. Let's see what that MNTS is doing. So it didn't really move up farther from where I got out, not by a whole lot, maybe a couple of pennies. We'll see if there's anything else to be had here on MNTS. Definitely that $2 break still in our purview.
Yes, sir. So I did hop out of that Nvidia Nvidia long there. Yeah, I didn't really kind of manage the initial entry well, but when it does come down, slow down, I did I guess exponentially size at the lower end there. And yeah, it seems like we're getting a little bit of a bid back up, so I might have sold a little too early there. When we talk about moving averages, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy, I gotta show this chart once again.
I love it.
Right here, let me just pull it in. Right there, boom. So look at that, right here. Bit of a moving average hold, right? Trend deceleration comes right back in, aggressive. But we talk about using higher what do you call moving averages. Take a look at this one, Sharif. That's the 200. We bounce off the 200 aggressively, so I'm like, all right, well, that might be a little overextended. I'm more than I might be. Did I double up? I guess I a little bit more than doubled up with those two entries there, and kind of managed the position that way there. But yeah, oh boy, we're coming right back in 60s. I sold. What did I sell? I sold 39s. We're at 60s. Okay, that's fine. But look at that trend hold on the moving averages, Sharif. So it's a great example of what your lesson on the day today has been, right?
I love it.
Trend holding, breaks, reversion, kind of reclaims the trend, holds attempts, higher, lower high, can't really make it, breaks, and then starts holding the moving average the other way. Trend deceleration, where it goes, that light blue is the 21. Trend deceleration pulls up into there.
I love how you call that trend deceleration, because I think that's very appropriate. Yeah, because that's exactly what it's doing.
Kind of so we're selling. Sellers are in charge, and then maybe sellers lift a little bit. They're like, all right, we're going to give some room, and then they step right back in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, and then we come down to the downside. But let's see, VWAP test as of right now. That's what I was looking for, but again, it mismanaged the initial entry on that position. So clearly the decisions are not the best.
The Katina man is $1 in the money, Ob, off that 126.60 along on, can you guess? NVDA, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, Katina man, can I ask a question about that trade? I'm going to throw up my chart if you're able to. So was this the area that got you interested? He is a support and resistance trader. I should have known. So this is the area. This is the IB low. Well, almost the IB low, printed at 1045. Shout out to Dan the Man Emmons. It's a local area low and an obvious area trough. Breaches the 50 on the 5. But guess what? It bounced right back up again. So we get right into that 126.60, 126.70 area. The Katina man puts the buy. Shout out to him. Great trade there, Sean. Hope you print up a storm if you're not already. All right, so here what we're getting here is a 19.7 move again on the future. And that's had a lot of these Mag 7 names curling into the 20 exponential moving average, save and except for Meta, which is at the 10. So this is kind of what Big Spile was saying earlier. It is, I feel, the short, the pops kind of day right now. I'm going to be waiting here, but I'm definitely looking now short on these Mag 7 names. We're back into 19.7. It's been a symphony of lower highs and lower lows on both the futures and the Mag 7s. Why would I look long now? So that's the thing. So now we're looking short on these bad boys. We're still involved in Redfin. I should tell you that I took out another beak wetter there at 11:30. The next beak wetter I'd like is at around the $0.50 or I get stopped out, whichever comes first. So now let's load up. And I'm sorry about this look here on Apple. Because it just, because of the, what's it called? The dark pool prints. I'm sorry about that. I'm just trying to see if I can get in at this level, and I'm going short on Apple. All right, so we're gonna go short over here, looking for a 19.7 rejection on the future. What's my out? I'm gonna have to give this to the $0.50 on the dead one because it's been having trouble with that level, but I'm gonna look to wet my beak at around 20s if we can get a little bit of a move down. But it looks like it's whiffling, waffling. We're short 30s. We're break even at the moment. I'm gonna have to put my out through the break of the $0.50 because that's gonna be my out there. So the stop is in place. Come what may, I see a topping tail on Apple. So I'd like ideally a move down. We rejected 19.7. Apple's not doing anything. That's so annoying because you want to reject 19.7 and then you want to come back a little bit down. But it's not about what I want. It's about what the market gives me. So we're going to keep watching this and look for the short until the short tells me that the short's not in play. So that's a look right now. Still holding Redfin and looking for an 11.5.
Yeah, dude, the selling is like distinctly different than some of the buying that's happening here today. Yeah, the bids are kind of not as aggressive, and then the selling that comes in here on Nvidia, dropping it down by 10 pennies at a time, 20 pennies there, it goes back down.
Get down.
We talk about that moving average. Old Sharif. Let me bring that chart back in, and my charts are frozen. Okay, never mind. Right there, boom, right here. So we're kind of respecting this trend to the downside here as of right now. So let's see if those moving averages can help us out a little bit today, as Sharif has been giving us some lessons on following the moving averages when following intraday trends, not just intraday trends, just trends in general.
All the time, yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. We get the print on Apple, baby. Yes. Get down. All right, we're about 15 pennies in the money. We'll look to cover near the 224.75. 224.75, but it's going against us now. It just popped back up into 20s. We're short 30s, so that's the point of de-risking, but there's all sorts of bamboozlement on this market. I don't want to paper hand this trade. I'm going to pack my patience. The stop's already in play. Come what may, but looking for the 20 exponential on the 5, rejection on Apple, and another move back down. Dan the Man Evans, NQ, 19,611, 19,564, 19,5, possible now due to bear pattern. Shout out to Dan the Man Evans. Keep your eye out on his levels in the chat. Him and Big Spile, they trade up a storm there on the futures. So I'm gonna adjust my stop now on Apple to account for the less size there, and then we'll look to cover obviously everything. I made a mistake there in my stop placement, so we'll have to do that again. There we go. Get down, Apple. All right, there we go. 225, and we'll take it out there. So now I'll be looking to cover the short on Apple if it breaks below the whole dollar. 225 is what I'm looking there for.
Yes, sir. So yeah, we're getting covered a piece. As soon as I cover a piece, it like rips right back up. So I'm like, all right, oh boy, I'm gonna kind of pack my patience for this one, as Sharif likes to say here. But yeah, look at that aggressive bid coming back in. I was just like, oh, the buying is not as aggressive as the selling. Nvidia is like, oh, let me show you coming right back in as we try to push that 19.7 once again. So let's see what Nvidia has in store for us here. But again, got to remember, this is VWAP. We're hovering right underneath VWAP right now. So can we expect a little bit of volatility? Sure, why not? There's a little bit of volatility as we're pushing back above that in 127 halves right now there, Sharif. Let's see if we can get through that 19.7 as well on the NASDAQ as we print here sideways underneath VWAP on Nvidia. So I got to keep an eye on this one. But something that might be breaking a bit of its trend, Sharif, is CAVA.
Oh, you want me to
check that? Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe,
sure,
perhaps.
of course. Let's have a look at CAV. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
A little bit of a pullback.
But this is that 124 level we were yapping up a storm about. So let's keep up. Thank you for calling this out. Great call
Looks
out.
like a reversion to me. I want to get involved soon enough.
I like it. Let me load up the 5 here on CAVA, the CAVA one, and have a look. Okay, so this is the first time on the day that we actually touched the 10x or the 20. Not even touch it. We're at the 20 exponential. A little bit above we're about 50 pennies, sorry. We're about 75 pennies. That's how distorted this chart is. The 20's at 123.50. The price action is at 124. It's $1 above the 20. That's how quickly CAVA will give you $1. It's like Meta all over again. But yeah, nice hold up here at 124. I got to tell you, Ob, I know that you love these reversion charts, but I need proof. I need proof that it's coming back down. I know you know how to spot that way better than me, so I'm going to keep looking.
Sometimes you just got to take the risk, man, because if you wait for confirmation,
you bet a bad price.
No, it's like everybody waits for confirmation.
Sure.
Right? But it's like, honestly, I believe that on the turn, when it gives you that turn, it's much, much better to kind of at least maybe not full size, but start kind of getting into it.
You could add in.
And then add it when you have confirmation, then you can kind of push into it and then maybe building into it a little bit better. But again, that's how I like to do it. That's how I'm currently in my trading journey. That's how I'm kind of viewing it. As of right now, that's subject to change as things change as well. Markets are ever changing. Remember when I showed you the first page on my playbook. PowerPoint or whatever is the market is ever changing. Adapt or perish, right? And you have to stay nimble. You have to stay ever kind of flexible with your mindset and your strategies as well.
Ain't that the truth, baby? All right, we're gonna let Apple cook there. I mean, it's lulling me to sleep, so I'll go to a different one that's lulling me to sleep. Here's Redfin. There's an obvious seller at 30. I won't be convinced otherwise. That's the third time now we're touching 30 without a break. Obviously, we broke it earlier. I'm talking about once we gave back 30 and got into 11. There's a seller at 30, it's not obvious when you look at the level 2, because what is there? There's like 25 lots on all exchanges here at 11:30, which is obviously not the case because you're looking at the time and sales and you're seeing the size. You're seeing way more than what's actually depicted. So most of this stuff is either coming in at the moment or basically icebergs. You're going to have to account for that when you trade this kind of thing. I'm looking for 1150. Let's put in the dang order right now. In fact, I'm going to front run it a little bit. We're going to go at 45s because what's a life without whimsy, Ob? And we're going to look to basically take everything out at around there. So it was a bigger position for me, this one. I don't usually take bigger positions on the show. That's just the way I roll. But with this one, I did like that $11 area. So we're going to look to take it out in front of 1150. And there's more selling at 1130. Unsurprised with that. Back to Apple. So now we're 3 pennies out of the money on the dead one. Let me look at what it's doing on the 5 over here. This is not what I want to see. I don't want to see it hold the 10 exponential. So we were taking the short because it was the first time it got into the 20 and curled back down. Any break of the 50, I'm gone. I've already put my stop there to account for the newer size. Now, this is going to be interesting over here if we continue to move up on Apple. And I'm going to be all eyes and ears. Pardon me? Oh, thank you. I will. Sure. I'm going to be all eyes and ears at 225.75. For whatever reason, we held there all morning from 10:45 until we gave way at 11. So if we work our way back into 225.75, which just by the way happens to be pivot points, I'm going to be looking to flip completely differently on this name. We're already 16 pennies out of the money here on Apple on a small amount, and are likely going to get stopped out here if it breaks a $0.50. So that's a look there on AAPL. Come what may. I'm going to send it to you while I set up for the ad read.
Yeah, no worries. So still kind of chopping and churning here at that 127.5. underneath VWAP here on Nvidia. Don Quixote asking, what is the plan? All right, the plan is, as long as this holds under 19.7 and we hold underneath VWAP and we're sustaining a little bit of a hold underneath 127 halves, prior highs here, consolidation highs right now, 127.66s. I'm sitting at 127.42 with the entry, as you guys can see. So let's see if that level sustains. And if it doesn't, I will be more than willing to stop out and reassess. We're following the trend to the downside. We've been making lower highs. Sorry, excuse me, lower highs, and now we've kind of attempted to, I guess you saw the aggressive selling that came in through VWAP, right? Again, Goolsby saying something, I don't know what, but we got that aggressive selling. Failure of VWAP is how I kind of saw it there, but we take the reversion as it might have been a little too hard, too fast there, and we get a lot more on the stall of the too hard, too fast, and then we pull back up into VWAP, and we make a lower high there. So let's see if we continue a little bit to the downside, but that 19.7 is definitely going to be a little telling there, Sharif, and that is the look, Don Quixote, or that is the plan.
All right, I like it. Shout out to Adara in the chat, always sending out good vibes. Lily, I'll short you. She's threatening Lily when she's at an appointment. I love it. Shout out to Adara. She'll be back soon. All right, guys. Are you looking to maximize your idle cash, Ram? You got idle cash. Throw some in this. Earn 8.1% on idle funds for up to 3 months. Plus, U.S. users can take advantage of up to 15 free stocks and $300 in cash rewards. Hey, Canada, you're not left out, thankfully. Enjoy 6% on cash balances along with up to $2,000 commission rebate. That's pretty cool. Sign up with Moomoo to trade on extended trading hours. Trade 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. well beyond regular market hours. Whether you want to react to pre-market news, catch after-hours earnings, or simply manage your portfolio with more flexibility, Moomoo has you covered. Maximize your trading potential and stay ahead of the curve with extended hours today. For more details and full terms and conditions, scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Thank you to Moomoo for sponsoring this part of the show, always doing the absolute most in a fantastic way there. So we're going to close that bad boy up. And Apple is about to stop me out. We are now knocking on the door of my stop. We break that $half level. I am gone. The $half level also happens to be exactly where the 20 exponential on the 5 is. Now, this has got me feeling like I should be adding here with a stop like at 2 or 3 pennies above it. Because if we reject the 20 exponential on the 5, I'm going to feel this big for not having added here. I'm adding, and if it breaks, it breaks. Well, that's it. We'll just use the flatten key. I know exactly where my out is. Screwed up there. And here we go. So I will have to flatten here, sadly, as it does break above. That's fine. We'll give up a little bit there on the dead one. Still positive on it, though. Don't go back down, Apple. Don't go back down. Don't do it to me, Apple. It will do it to me. I know it will do it to me. All good there. You cannot be upset about these trades. But what I did notice while I was reading the ad reads is that we did break 30 on Redfin. So we got up into 1134. So it looks like that seller at 30 did get taken out. But as per usual, we're still whiffling and waffling. No real direction. Still waiting in the mid 40s there.
I see Marie in the chat saying, Kava is flirting with the doorman. I see you, Kava. I'm patiently waiting, for those longs to potentially start to exit through the door there. But I'm kind of, you know what? I should probably be pulling up the ticker on the side here. You know what? Yeah, let's look to get involved here. Kava is a nicey ticker. Okay, cool, nice.
Apple.
Let me see that tape. Let me see that tape, baby. Let's go. Kava.
I like that. I like that. Where the money at?
Go ahead, bring that back.
Da-na-na-na-na.
What was that? That's Chingy. Yeah. I remember Chingy. Chingy was dope. Okay, let's go here. What's the open price of this bar here? Opening price is 123.92. High of the bar is 124.74. Oh boy. Okay, all right. I might consider changing some sizing based off of that risk. The spread's about 15 pennies-ish. Okay, all right. But yeah, a little bit of a break in trend. But let's see. You know what I like even better? I like when the trend breaks. Yeah, you want to take a little bit of a dabble here on when the trend does break. But when it comes back in, and retests that trend support as a trend resistance. So that is even better there. But here's the thing: we haven't pulled back that much. We pulled down about 2 points, and I'm looking at the volume here on CAVA. The volume has been dropping off just slightly, and the relative volume but the relative volume has been kind of sustaining. So I kind of want to keep an eye on that. But yes, first red bar in a while, but we've had red bars in the past. Let's see if we can come down into VWAP here. I'm looking for this 123.80s to kind of give way, and maybe some potential. Again, we see the action kind of starting to potentially form on the chart. So I am moving my visual over to the tape and the book to kind of look for that confirmation, that confluence, to be like, all right, well, are people actually selling? The chart is looking like the trend has potentially broken, but are people actually selling distinctly on the tape? And as of right now, all I see are a little bit of mid-prints. So let's see if that selling can potentially come in. I'm looking for those dark reds below the bids, people punching in or punching out as they step out the door there on CAVA. But yeah, let's see if this restaurant will have a meal for us today or not. Restaurant brand? No, that's a different ticker. Okay, see that pop right there? Okay, so let's see if that pop is met with any sort of selling there. That's something else that I want to see as well when I'm looking for the short is like, if the buying does come in, is there anybody trying to push back into that buying? Are there players that are kind of being aggressive to that buying, holding it down, and then that's more confluence and confirmation there as to point towards maybe sellers are actually in charge, because you see buyers pushing it up. You see buyers pushing it up, and then all of a sudden they're like, sellers are just like, no, that's as far as you go, and then it comes right back in. So take a look at that. Not really that strong of a break as of right now. So like I said, it's looking like it might be setting up, but it has to have that confluence there with on the tape and the book there for sure, for me to really kind of get involved there. But yeah, I have my size queued up. I got my order queued up to get ready to punch, just in case that selling comes in aggressively there. Thomas Johnson in the chat saying, is it just me, or is SPY moving the same as it did yesterday? If so, I'm calling trip 5's end of day. That trip 5 was an interesting level that you mentioned that a couple days ago. We had that day high at trip 501, and I was like, oh boy, that's going to be a little bit of an over-under. And I was like, if SPY, so the plan for the next day was if SPY holds above trip 5's, look long, buy the dips. So. Okay. Did I do that really well? I got to work on executing my plans a little bit better, but the plan was good.
All right. I'm looking at CAVA here, Ob, since you called it out. Now we keep looking at this 20 exponential, but we have lower lows now, lower highs. But on this last pullback, if I can zoom in here, we're putting in these higher lows since this pullback with this kind of flat top below 125. And the lack of selling here is kind of, it stands out. So the entry here, if I was to enter, I'd have to give this to at least 124. That's 50 pennies worth of risk. But it is offering me $1.30 from currently where it is at the high. Probably wouldn't take that. I can also base my out on the breach of the 20 exponential, which is the yellow line. That's a little bit below 124. That's at around 123.75. I'm trying to figure out how I want to get into this. I'm very long bias on CAVA, whether or not the market is red or selling off or whatever. But I don't want to give back what I've made on it. That's what's kind of holding me back. Let's see here. So I'd have to give this to at least 124. Maybe I can get a better price because it's ranging. That way, if I can get a better price, maybe at the $1/5 of a dollar or the $1/4 I can risk a little bit less by putting my stop through 124. It's exactly what I'm going to do. Now, I may miss that trade and by doing that. And yeah, I am going to miss it because it's going up. What? Bitcoin's up big, Katina Man says. What is Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's at 62,000. 61.9. Bitcoin's at 61.9, guys. Crypto's absolutely in play. Raymond, let me show this. Here it is. So Bitcoin up 2.67, you got ETH at 3.2, and then all the derivatives or all these crypto-related names like Mara up big at 18%. Probably Patty Ice trading up a storm on that. Riot also. But Mara is really leading here. It's Hive and Mara. Mara up 6 2/3. Hive is up 10 3/4. So all the mining names are moving as well as the actual instrument itself. BTC, good afternoon for BTC as it looks to, I guess, recoup some of the losses it's had lately. So good look there. Yeah, nothing, no entry here on CAVA. Oh, baby. We are up nicely, though, on Redfin. Now we're knocking the door of 40 pennies, Ob. We've been waiting at 11:45.
Nice trade.
I appreciate you, Ob. And shout out to the Katina man as well. Always good vibes, Katina. We always know about that. And we're waiting here at 11:45. That's 6 pennies away. I'm happy with this trade. I'm happy I packed my patience. But there's some selling here, as there was at the 11:30 area. There's more selling, it seems like, at 11:40. But this CAVA trade is the one that I really want to focus on now, man. I really feel like I might have something here with this. If I can get the entry proper, I can risk a little bit less than what I want to risk. We're showing 55s right now on the bid, 75 on the ask. So obviously 20 pennies worth of spread on a $125 name. You should be able to stomach that. That is kind of normal for these names. So we'll keep tabs on that. Bless you, Ram. You think if someone threatened to key your car, would you be saying bless you to them?
I'm a nice guy.
You're a nice
I would
guy,
like to think so. I don't know. I'd be like, I might say some other things before the bless you, but you know.
Love it. It was. She says that I instigated it and that she was just simply responding, Ob, so she's defending herself. I like what Patty had to say. He's like, no chance. He said, Patty was pretty. Oh, Patty, she says, watch your car now. She threatened to key my car today, Patty. She knows where your car is, too. Oh, baby.
Patty just got a new car, too.
I know,
that car,
brand new car.
Dope.
It's so sick.
Dope. Yeah,
it's so sick. Big boy car.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, Ram is bullying all the dudes around here. She's 5'2", but she'll take on everybody. So shut.
Okay, 5'3". We
At least 5'3", guys. Shut up. Just teasing a little bit. Don't ever key someone's automobile. Yes, thank you. I didn't really know that.
You don't mess with
touch
the man's
car.
whip. Yes,
says
Neil.
Vicky Novak. No. That Neil says, don't
it's a no
mess
drive zone
with
Neil.
a man's whip. You know what I mean? I love that. The chat is absolutely undefeated. I'm having a great time.
You can't be messing with the man's whip when the whip game's strong, all right? And yeah, no, some nice cars in the lot downstairs.
Yes, sir. Sure. Ram has a sick car too, bro.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your car, Ramin? Where are you parked?
It's just, look. Where are you parked? But what's funny...
Information for future.
What's funny is like...
for a friend.
You know, if Ram was to be depicted as a car, you know, you choose a Mini Cooper, you know, I don't know, like a smart car. But she chose to drive the exact opposite. What is it, Ram? A quad cab Ram?
A what? Who's it? What?
What is it again? She's going to show a picture.
Okay, all right.
She's got the Sierra.
Let's see a picture. I'm down. All right, so 19.7 is coming in on the market here. 19.7's testing as of right now, and we got a little bit of a pop there on the Nvidia back in towards VWAP there. That was a little aggressive push back towards VWAP there. Did get a little bit more involved, just kind of patiently waiting to see if that'll come in as, again, sellers kind of, buyers were in charge off of VWAP initially, and then sellers started getting a little aggressive there underneath VWAP. So I'm looking for more of the same until it shows me otherwise there. But that aggressive buying into VWAP might be a little something of concern. But again, with that push and that test of 19.7, maybe something slightly expected there. But something I do want to note, and something I pointed out earlier as well, was that 200 MA bounce there, a little bit of a double bottom happening there on Nvidia, 126.60s, and we're pushing back up into VWAP. So that's another piece of information that also has a weighting in my mind that I'm keeping in consideration as well. Again, as the market tries to pull back up off of this 19.6, we've been aggressively selling since the morning session. 19.9s all the way to 19.6 there, Sharif. 300-point range on today's price action. Absolutely
crazy. Oh, this CAVA is just putting in higher lows consistently here, and so it doesn't give a dang about where my dip trade is. Look at it, bro. It's right up back into 125. This just all sorts of strong. Every time we dip into a level, it's just getting bought up again. Look at this, 124.50. I think like 6 bottoming tail candles that were dipping into that $0.50 level, all of which were bought up. I saw it reflected on the book, but we could see some other lower prints coming in on the tape. And there it goes, man, right back above 125. CAVA is on the way up. There it is again. It's going to test highs. The high's over here. 125.80. So rejecting 125 now. Let's see if we can get something. Let's see if it can come print us right down in this area, 124.31. I see you guys. Daniel, excuse me. Melendez, Ram with the Ram makes sense. Nah, she's got an Explorer and a Sierra. I misspoke there. It was bias in my mind. Ram driving a Ram, right? I mean, it would just be perfect. I know she wants a TRX. It's like $150,000 on this side of the border. Shout out to you, Ram. I believe in you.
What's a TRX?
It's the Ford. What's it called? No, that's a Raptor. This is the Ram TRX. It's kind of like, is it like a Hellcat, Ram? It is a Hellcat. Okay, it's like the truck version of the Hellcat. All right. Yeah, that's big boy. Vicky and Novak, it's a classic indeed, the most beautiful car ever made. Vicky and Novak saying, I have a DS23 Palace to 1974. That's a Renault for all those people that don't know because they don't sell it in North America. Or they did maybe, but they don't anymore. Definitely Renault and Peugeot and all the French cars. Not on this side of the board. Alfa Romeo's Italian.
They're Italian.
Yeah. But good call. That's the look there.
Fall under there.
So shout out to him. Zion Lala, Trader TV Live. What? TTV Live in room 112, where the players dwell and the stash and more cash than Burt Padell. Y'all making that money. We're spending the money for you. Shout out to Zion Lala. He's always rhyming in the chat, and he does a really good job with it. Love that kind of attitude from the viewers. Shout out to you guys. All right, let's keep this going over here. Nothing. I was just looking over at the Katina man. He was talking to Neil. 1140 is where I'm. Where the local high here on Redfin. But I'm still waiting at 1145. What are you doing?
Yeah, the buying coming in. We did break that 19.7 here and pushing up higher as of right now. I'm looking to potentially get out if this 128 sustains here. Again, like I said, the plan, we pointed out the plan earlier. Let's see if we sustain below this VWAP here. We're trading above it as of right now, and we're pushing above that 19.7. So I should start piecing off of this one a little bit here as the bid potentially catching right back in as we're getting some aggressive buying coming back into both futures. You can see the ES and the NQ going crazy as of right now. So, I do have to kind of punch out and reassess on this one there, Sharif. But that CAVA, man, that CAVA is still holding sideways as of right now. Nothing too crazy on that one as it continues to push to the upside here. Well, not really. Well, it doesn't really continue to push to the upside, but it's sustaining this price action well within its upper quartile here on CAVA. So let's see, it has slowed down a little bit, but again, things can start to slow down. They decelerate the trend and then they just continue the trend as well. So I'm watching that 126, I'm watching the 124. We're chopping and churning around that 125, Sharif. But CAVA reversion, I don't think it's ready yet. I'm still standing at that door, but not too many people taking the exit just yet.
Yeah, you're right. And I got involved in that to the long side now, Ob, and so that might be trouble for me if what you're saying actually comes true. Because when we broke above 125, Ob, I saw a whole lot of selling at 125.10, and that really pushed this one down. Like I've been waiting at the or at the $0.50 for a hot minute. And it didn't come down. Well, and it came down into there. Here we go. So here's printing 57s. I'm waiting at the $0.50, and I've got a tight stop below that $0.50. It's going to have to hold up here. Otherwise, I'm flattening out. It's going to have to hold up at the $0.50. Otherwise, I'm gone. And there it is. So breaks, give back on this trade. Not really happy with that. I had so many opportunities to get into this trade, and I screwed it up. So that's on me. That's on me. And we're going to look to do a little bit better. So that's the look right now. CAVA on the way. I think you might have something right here. For me, I'm getting all sorts of short if we break 124. So there was all sorts of defending here at 124 level. We had initial trouble with it. We bounced off it. Initially over here, 1230, again at 1230 or 1226, 1231. We come back into it at 1 o'clock, come back into it again at 110, and here we go right back into 124 again on CAVA. Let's see if it breaks 124 now. Maybe the reversion man next to me over here brings this bad boy down. I want to see exactly what we get. Oh, we're breaching 124, baby. Zigging and zagging, but now the spread is really opening up. It was about 30 pennies there at 124. So let's see if we hold up at 124, but the bid definitely dropped below that 124 and it got super wide there. And now we are really giving it up. There it comes, Obe. But look at this, zigging and zagging. No, I think this is a short. I think you got this one right. Here goes CAVA, really coming off those highs. 125 was a bit of a resistance level there. We couldn't get it back above it. Now we're printing below that 124s. Are we below this wick over here? Yes, this is really coming in now, Obe. What's your look?
Yeah, I'm kind of watching that as well. Yeah, it's starting to really pull in here as that trend really starts to break down here. 124s. Let's see again. Like I said, there's a couple ways you can execute on this, or I like to execute on this. Let's see if any of those pops kind of sustain this selling. The selling is now, it's like confirmed. Okay, we're seeing some selling come in. We broke this consolidation shelf low. But yeah, if you got involved in that 125, you're chilling right now because you're about a point in the money at below this 124s. But yeah, let's see if any sort of bidding on this ticker gets met with some aggressive selling. A failure to follow through will be the next thing that I'm looking for here to potentially get involved. But that back through that 124, Sharif, that's solid. I see that you did you
I got out. No, I didn't. I tried to get in.
Boy.
I tried to chase it, but it wouldn't let me in. The spread was ridiculous. Now it's tightening up a little bit. It's getting above 124, which when I look on my side chart here on the 5-minute, it's defending the 20 exponential. So I gotta tell you, it's gotta clear the 20 exponential for me to get short. I didn't realize that. I'm gonna put my short at $0.33, and I'll give it to $0.25. So if it drops into 123 and $0.33, the mean reversion could get mean here. We're putting that stop in place. So let it break the $0.33. Let it break the $0.33. I thought you were talking to me, Katina Man. Sorry. The Katina Man is still long Nvidia, and he's trying to get into SOXL at the moment, taking it long, right? He is in it. So the Katina Man right now is trading up a storm on these microchip names, and then goes CAVA right back above 124. All right, let's pack our patience. Let's not make rash decisions here. Let's watch the price action unfold. I've already put my order to go short below the $0.33, 123 and $0.33, and I gave it a nice amount of room there in case the spread opens up. But it really looks like it wants to defend that 124. That might have been a specialist breakdown here. If that was a specialist breakdown, like we got the specialist breakout on Meta, that got me out of my short position, then dropped $5. This could be the same thing here. So I need to be on the lookout for a 124 defend on this level. So very interesting. Say it again.
What's a specialist breakdown?
So specialist breakout, this is talked about by John J. Murphy's, actually it's in the, okay, I need to look at this for a second here. Yeah, so essentially what it is it's basically an obvious area of technical support or resistance that a lot of people are watching. Whoever a big trader or an algo will push the price well beyond that area of support or resistance to stop everybody out, and then basically proceed to go in the direction it was previously going in. And so it's just, whatever you guys call that.
Like a lick grab.
Yeah. I mean, it's synonyms, right?
It's like potentially like a stop hunt or something. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Liquidity grab.
They call it different things, and they want to sound smart, right? So they'll call it a specialist breakout, specialist breakdown, whatever, but it's all the same thing. So I think what you're saying is absolutely right. Yeah,
a bit of a wick dance with the...
Wick shit, man.
Yeah.
It's got to dance, so we're not the only people that can dance, not like I dance, but it's all good there. Yeah, look, I don't have a read on CAVA at the moment, because I don't know whether or not it holds up at the 20 exponential. I'm going long. All right, let's go 123.79. I'm going to send it to you to put my stuff.
Yeah, no worries. So we're holding this 128 as of right now here on the NVDA. No real kind of pullback coming in just yet. And I think I am kind of overstaying my welcome here for sure a little bit on the ticker for now. So let's see what we do with that 128. We did break back above some of these prior highs there, so I do have to respect that as well. Something else I do want to kind of put on the chart right now is, okay, so we can kind of, we can get a little bit extended here. Take a look at that. quickly put in that little bit of a trend resistance here off of these two highs. Yeah, we can easily get back up 128 halves before we get anywhere else. And we're only about 20 pennies away from there as of right now here on NVDA. So let's see if that buying pressure really brings us in to that trend resistance. Trend resistance now being intraday off of those highs there, off of this high and this high. A little bit of, if you throw in the line there, it comes in just below the half right now. And we're getting that aggressive buying off of the 200 moving average there, just below that was at 126.50s-ish, 126.60s, and then pick right back up into 128s there. Yeah, so shout out to Sean. I know he has the long on this one there from much low there. But yeah, that double bottom 126.60 is a little bit telling for the bid back up towards VWAP there. So a little miss on my part not to kind of hold that long and flip short underneath VWAP. For now, a little bit of I guess misread as we continue to just grind to the upside here above this 120, above VWAP now. And let's see if we pull back in. Moving average, we're extending. We're talking about moving averages. We're extended a little bit off of that moving average, sitting at 127.88 as of right now. So my average is 127.60s. Let's see if we can come back into that 127.88, or maybe we hover above and we continue to catch a bid and get extended to the upside. As of right now. What do you got going on, Sharif? I see that this 124 is still holding. This is what I was a little concerned about. If we just go sideways and then make another leg up, I don't necessarily want to be involved. And this is like, yeah, okay, we talk about waiting for confirmation, but this is not really, I guess, not really, a trend has broken, but it's just, the buying has just slowed down. So I want to see a little bit more before I want to get it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've given it to the 77 penny area, so it's going to have to defend this local area low. Otherwise, I want no part of it, and I'll stop trading it at that point. Because, well, we'll actually look to take it short at that point. Where is it exactly? Relative to the volume-weighted average price, it's still well above VWAP at the moment. So we're 10 pennies out of the money on this name, but yeah, it's... It might be some trouble here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, oh, here we go. Now it's going to break down. It looks like it is coming down. Yeah, we're going to get stopped up. What's going on with my stop? What's going on with the stop? That's frustrating. Okay.
It's not registering your stop?
Hey, no, it didn't stop me out there.
That's a hard
here
flush.
we go. What's that?
That's a hard flush.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, we're short now, so
There's a reversion, yeah.
Yeah, we'll look to take out some there. So we'll look to see exactly what we get with this bad boy, but there's a whole bunch of weakness now coming into the CAVA one at this level. So pack your patience. We could be zigging. We could be zagging. Wow, what a day today on these markets. Yeah, I'll tell you. Let's go like this and then look to cover. Okay, so we'll leave that one to be. Redfin still in the money on this one, but it's lulling me to sleep. Apple, though, this is interesting here on Apple because we got into that 226 area, but that exact same area was the volume-weighted average price on the fuge. So it looks like we're rejecting, at least for the moment, not rejecting, but we're not clearing the volume-weighted average on the fuge. So I was thinking about what to do here at the whole dollar level on Apple. I kept eyes on this one, but it was just, you know, really zigging and zagging, and I'm unsure exactly how to trade this one, so I'm going to leave this one alone. But we do have a lesson that we have to get to in a short little while right now, so... or in, well, now actually, so I've got to keep an eye on that. But I want to make sure that my position with CAVA is all good, and we're already out of the money on this one again. So lots of trouble with this name today. Initially did well on it, but bamboozling me now, and it looks like it might be going up here with the overall market. So sucks to be me. Now hopefully this stop works. Let's just make sure the stop is in play this time. Did I type it in right? Yes, I did everything right. So it should be stopping me out here if we get up above 80s. That's quite frustrating, but that's the way it is. So anything you got before I start the lesson?
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kind of patiently waiting. I do want to get involved with the CAVA, but like I said, I want to see those bids. Yeah, okay, we got that selling. We broke down the 124 there. Let's see another pop. Let's see, look at that nice little gradual wave back down. Let's see if we can get more of that right there. If we can retest that 125 potentially, I do want to get involved with the CAVA reversion going into the end of the day there. Again, looking at that volume dropping off as well. Volume dropping off. Our vol, not really, not as much, man. So interesting kind of discrepancy there.
All right.
Go ahead with the lesson there. Let's cover some moving averages.
Yeah, I know. I'm just still not done this thing, so just gonna have to hang on for a second here.
No worries,
sorry.
No worries. Sharif's on the CAVA there right now, and I'm trading. Let's see. I'm still in the Ford. Ford kind of came all the way back up. It bounced off of 13. I think what was it? 11, 13 a couple of times. I was looking for VWAP down at 11.10s. Didn't really come in. It hovered about 2 pennies above that before pushing right back up. So I'll keep an eye on that one. Maybe just not ready. Maybe not ready just yet. But I think Sharif
we're good to go.
is ready though.
All right, sorry for the delay there. Guys, we're talking about using these moving averages that we've been talking about all day today as areas of both support and resistance. Let's talk a little bit about exactly what support and resistance are for the traders who are just joining us and are newer to the trading game. So essentially, support and resistance are levels where price points of a security or an instrument, doesn't just have to be equities, they tend to pause or reverse at those levels. So when a support level comes in, it's technically where buyers are more likely to come into the market. And when resistance levels are hit, it's the area where sellers are more likely to come into the market. Now, sellers don't just mean short sellers, and buyers just don't mean buyers. People who are short can buy at that level, and people who are long can sell at the resistance as well. So all sorts of different scenarios that can take place at these areas of support and resistance. I think Michael Noss made a really good point today when he was talking about the actual psychological, the theoretical reason behind support and resistance. If you were long a stock, right, and then it comes back into your area, and then you say, oh, I wish I had bought more there, and it comes back, you're buying at that area, right? If you were short a stock and it finally comes back down to where you shorted it, and you want to cover there. So there's a lot of buying by people at those levels. That's the theory behind support and resistance and why it ends up working out, because of the psychology and the actual mechanics that people are engaging in at those levels, right? Explained a little bit about that. Michael Noss did anyway, a little bit better of an explanation that I did in the morning. If you want to check it out, 8:45 a.m. in the morning show. So using these moving averages as support and resistance. So essentially moving averages we know are good for identifying areas of support and resistance, but when prices touch or break through moving averages, it can certainly signal a potential reversal or continuation, really depending on the context. But when we talk about using moving averages as support and resistance, we're not just talking about using one moving average, although that is absolutely valid in and of itself. The 200 can act as support and resistance levels. The 50 can act as support and resistance levels. So absolutely valid. But what we're talking about today is using these moving averages in pairs. So we're talking about the 50 and the 200 SMA, simple moving average. And basically, the idea here is how to use it. When the price touches or pulls back into the 50, depending on where the 50 is here, it can act as potential level of support. Conversely, when the price touches or pulls back into the 200 SMA, it can act as a potential resistance level. What we're assuming here is the 50 is below the 200. Okay? And what you're looking for is if the price consistently bounces off the 50, it suggests strong support, buying at the 50 moving average. But if the price consistently fails to break the 200, which again we're assuming is above the 50 here, it can suggest to you strong selling, strong resistance level. And the amount of waiting time, the observation that you need to engage in here to see exactly whether your level hits or not, you're basically waiting, your waiting time can vary depending on market conditions, but as a general rule, some traders like to wait for that move back in to test that support or that move back up to test resistance before they want to get involved. So if you break the 200 moving average and you were south of the 200 moving average and now you've broken above it, a lot of traders will wait until that price comes back in to retest the 200 moving average, not as resistance this time, but as support. And so there is that retest strategy. Some indicators that you can use to help you in your assessment or in your analysis using the 50 and the 200 is on balance volume. This likes to confirm strength, or that you use this to confirm the strength of the support or resistance levels at that area. If the on balance volume is increasing as the price approaches support, it suggests to you strong buying pressure. That's not the only pairs of moving averages that we are talking about. Yesterday, we introduced two, the 50 and the 200, as well as the 20 and the 50. This time, though, we're not talking about the simple moving average. We're talking about the exponential moving average, EMA. So how to use? Same thing as we talked about with the 50 and the 200. You're looking for basically a pullback or move into the 50 as support, and or a pullback or move into the 200, or sorry, the 20 and the 50 as resistance. What you're looking for, if the price consistently bounces off the 50 SMA, it suggests strong support. If it's bouncing or failing to break, the 20, if it bounces off the 20 EMA, strong support. If it's rejecting off the EMA, it's resistance. Waiting time here, you should be waiting a little bit less than you would for the 20 and for the 50 and the 200, because these moving average pairs are for shorter term trading. And some other indicators that you can use with these is the RSI or stochastics to confirm the strength of the support or resistance level. A divergence between these indicators can certainly suggest strong trend reversal. Here are some strategies for using these moving averages as areas of support and resistance. Typically, you should be looking to buy near support when the price touches or pulls back into a moving average, which is the support level. You can consider buying a potential, or you can consider buying with a potential entry there. You should sell or look to sell near resistance when the price touches or pulls back to a moving average, which is the resistance level. You can consider also selling there as well as a potential exit point. But you should also be on the lookout for breakouts or breakdowns. So when the price breaks above a resistance level like the 200 simple or the 50 exponential, or below a support level like the 50 simple or the 20 exponential, it can be a signal of a strong trend change, and you should be on the lookout for a bit of a different look there. And one move, or one strategy you can you can try to employ to help your trading strategy is for the retest. You wait after the breakdown or the breakout above that moving average. What you want to do is you may want to wait to see if the retest comes in of the former support level, of the former resistance level. It can provide you an entry or an exit opportunity at those levels as well. And last but not least, tips for using these moving averages as support and resistance. Consider the market conditions. Very important. Moving averages may not be as effective in choppy markets or during periods of high volatility. I'm going to say to you, consolidative markets are the kind of the kryptonite of moving averages, so make sure you're not using them during consolidative markets, and it behooves you to combine them with other indicators so you can get that full picture, the full balance of the evidence kind of thing. Use moving averages in conjunction with other technicals like RSI, stochastics, and MACD. MACD obviously made up of moving averages. And you should be looking to adjust your moving average periods. We've talked a lot about this, how Adara uses the 9, I use the 10, Obi used the 8, Sean uses the 50 and the 200. Neil, what do you use on your charts? I just want to make sure that everybody knows. Neil only uses the 50 and the 200 on the daily. He doesn't use them intraday. So there you go. So everybody has some different styles there. So you should be experimenting with the different pairs, like the 50, the 200, the 10, the 20, whatever you want to do to make sure that it works best with your trading style as well as the best on the time frame that you trade. Like Neil is using it on the daily, but he doesn't use it on the intraday. So keep that in mind and experiment in the sim and see what comes of that. I can't believe this CAVA thing. I want to kill it. I want to kill it.
It came right back, right? It came right back. So, yeah. What do you have to say about that?
What do I have to say about CAVA?
Yeah.
I think I just said a mouthful. I want to kill it. I want violence, Ob.
Wow.
I want to exact violence on this name. A bit of 125 resistance here, Ob. How do you see it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going sideways. We talk about it going sideways at 125. Definitely a key place of interest in my opinion. And yeah, so let's see. Okay, so we're getting some selling coming in here once again on these markets here. Let's see, aggressive selling coming right back in, coming back into the moving average here, 128.09s here that we were holding, 128.9s. Let's see if that continues to hold. But that selling coming in real aggressive as of right now. Again, we kind of pull back off of what is this? It's like a 19,770-ish area here, and we're pulling right back into that 128 area here on Nvidia. So let's see what this price action will bring in here. Can the selling get just as aggressive? Back to the downside, are we going to continue this bit of a chip chop here on Nvidia, sideways consolidation, a bit of a flag pattern potentially forming here? Again, we never really got to that 130, but again, today's a Friday. Gonna be packing my patience there. But yeah, that CAVA, man, that CAVA is holding up very, very well as of right now, Sharif. So yeah, I don't have much to say on that one either. I was like, I want to get short. I was like tempted to get short, but I was like, I don't know. It doesn't really look as good as I'd like it to for reversion. And again, we talk about that relative volume. It's doing over 10 times relative volume. That reversion can be pretty messy. That's what I've noticed. That's what my stats kind of show on reversions when the RVol is higher. Sometimes it comes in nice, but more often than not, especially mid to later on in the day, if the RVol is sustaining, then yeah, it might take much longer. It might be very messy. It might be competitive in terms of the reversion there. And again, if it has a catalyst, which it clearly does today, it has some sort of catalyst today, you don't necessarily want to fight that either, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm in it again here, so we'll see exactly what happens there. I feel like I've been trading this more like aggressively out of frustration rather than out of technique, and so that's something that's not good at the moment because I'm noticing that I'm doing that. If I'm noticing that I'm doing that, then that means I'm doing it. So yeah, we'll see what we get here. I'm gonna get stopped out if it breaks above 80. I'm looking at wetting my beak if it breaks below that 40 penny area. Showing 55s right now, so I'm break even on it. But yeah, it's not doing a whole lot, and I keep trying to take a very strong name short, and it's just making me pay over and over and over. We'll see if we get something printed here as it dips down into the 40s. So maybe a little weakness coming in here on CAVA, but don't want to call that out too quickly because, well, we've seen what it does. So yeah, it's a look there. Ob, are you still involved in trade? So I'll let you cook there and do your thing. Let's see what else is moving. Let's bring in some of the side charts here that we haven't talked a whole lot about. There's been some of these other, small cap gappers that we've had on watch today. Not a whole lot in terms of upside strength today for FIFI. For Faraday Futures was very strong yesterday. Has kind of really sold off, and we've been really holding the pre-market low over here at around 720. So Faraday Futures was a fantastic short, it looks like there, since the bell, because it was all sorts of strong before the bell. And I saw you guys at the big desk. When we were at the big desk, you guys were talking about this one really early on. There's also ARQT. This one obviously has been below 10 for the majority of the morning, but that 995 area seems to have been a bit of a double top, bouncing off the volume weighted average price a couple of times, trying to work its way back up. So that's been in play. Redfin, I'm still involved in that, in the money on this one. Peloton has also held up at the highs, very strong at around that 480 level, but a bit of a double top at 485. Really wasn't able to take out the level there. PRTG broke down below the volume weighted average price, so it's not tradable for me as a breakout trade right now on this name. PRTG was up, though, nicely 123% or so. Yeah, not much else in terms of the small cap gappers. Still flat right now, or 1 penny out of the money on my CAVA trade. But here we go. We haven't had the ask break down below 124.50, but the bid is. And this is the second time that that's done that. So I'd like to see the ask come on the south side of the $0.50. I think that'll help a little bit of the selling here as we whiffle and waffle on this name. But yeah, still about, we'll break even on it now, but still red on it. No question about that. They're looking at exacting some revenge here. So the bid now below 50, and I'm seeing, well, the ask is now below 50. Excuse me, the bid was below 50, but still above 40s at 41s. And there you go, some buying as per usual. So we're going to have to pack our patience there, Ob. What's your look?
Yeah, I'm kind of just watching this Nvidia real close here. 128 potentially coming in here. I see that in the chat, Strobe 9 asking, I'm measuring RVol based on a daily window. How do you calculate your RVol? So the indicator I use here is just the RVOL indicator here, 5-period indicator. So I'm looking at specific bars over the course of the 5-day period and how that specific bar on that time frame that I'm using has traded relative to the past 5 periods. On the daily, yeah. So that's kind of I'm pretty sure that's how that relative volume indicator is measured for me. So yeah, I'm just looking at how does this 3-minute bar compare to the past 5 days 3-minute bars at this time, relative volume in that time. So that's kind of how that calculation is done. Here we're trading back below a little bit on that 128. Let's see if that can come in. 19.7. Futures turning as well a little bit here. Again, interesting price action nonetheless, as some of these trends and supports and resistances come into play here on Nvidia, and as well as the futures here as well. So gotta keep a close eye on that one. Let's see if it can come back to the downside here. 120 was it VWAP here on this chart, sitting at 127.80s. VWAP on my chart over here on the side, 127.74. So it's about a 10-penny difference roughly on the VWAP, and I think partially because here on PPRO, it's not necessarily taking all the candle. Like we don't have some of the pre-market data before. I think it's 6 a.m. So some of the data points that VWAP uses can make that measurement a slightly different there on depending on where you're using that VWAP there. So yeah, no problem, Strobe. Anytime, I'm more than willing to kind of answer any questions you guys may have to the best of my abilities there. CAVA still trading
I'm
sideways,
printing on it,
dude. What do you got?
We're about 50 pennies in the money right now on CAVA as it broke down below the $0.50, multiple topping tails. So we'll see if we get something a little bit more. Yeah, so I got partially filled up here. So I added initially at the $0.50. I added again once it popped up into $0.75. Sadly, this was a partial fill. That's why it's red, not purple. So I don't have my full position. So that means I have one more out. So I'm going to pack my patience. I'm going to move down my stop to account for the move down. So that way, if it pops back up, I'm not getting trailed out too aggressively here. I don't have that much time left on the show. I've got to move up to the green screen here. So I don't really want to be managing this position either when I'm up there. So it's going to have to do something for me, 21, or I'm going to have to get out right now. So yeah, it looks like it's moving back up here. So maybe we'll just take profits at 39. We're short 66s. This isn't really what I wanted. I really wanted something around this 123.50 because that is the area crest, or sorry, area trough. And so if I'm looking for that breakdown below 124, it can't just be at 124. We'll see. Well, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have time. Here we go, back down into 16s again. Let's see if we can get a break of 124 this time. So some selling here, and you can see the blue come in on the timing sales, and here we go back down. But there's a buyer at 14 because that's, okay, here we go. Now back down into the whole dollar. Let's see if we can print a little bit more to the downside over here, Obe. Showing 25s now on the ask. 18s, they're lower than that. Let's see if we can drop a little bit more on this name. Now up 21 and 2/3. Here we go. All right, here comes the $0.50 test. And there it is, baby. Yes, finally got out of a little bit of trouble there. That was not a dollar winner. I hit that by accident, but that got me out of a little bit of trouble, which is fine. I'm still negative on the day. And I'm very disappointed about that because I feel like I had some good trades. So we're going to get rid of this Redfin as well. We got to get up into the green board here, Obe. But I'm going to leave you here with them for a few minutes. And
yeah, no worries.
I'm going to weasel up the green screen. Thank you for being on, and I hope you kill the rest of. Thank
you, Sharif, again. For giving us those lessons on moving averages and trend indicators today. Definitely an indicator I use on the daily on my part. Again, to define trends, to define what other players might be looking at as well, right? You know, a lot of people use moving averages, and when those moving averages start getting violated, I want to be on the other side of that move there. Again, we talk about trading being a PvP game, so it's always it's always a good perspective to know what other people are looking at and if it's working. And if it has been working, you're like, okay, well, this has been working for people. And as soon as it stops working, guess who's headed for the exit there? And again, you want to be who was it? I think it was Maria in the chat. Being like, yeah, you want to be the doorman or doorwoman in that scenario for sure. There, and that's part of what reversion trading is kind of about, right? You're taking the other side of the move as it kind of corrects or starts to go the other way, distinctly different from the way it had been going earlier, right? So yeah, it's been a pretty solid midday session here on the day. Crazy moves. We had some Fed speakers today. Shout out to the reversion man, Jay Powell, when he stepped up on the podium there. Some crazy volatility coming into the market, and he steps off. Some more crazy volatility coming in, and then Goolsby with a little bit of a flush earlier there as well. Again, market reacting to some of these words that the Fed speakers have to say, so that always brings in some solid volatility there. Tony Price saying a little off topic, but how are your cats doing? My cats are doing perfectly fine, man. Thank you for asking. Yo, what's up? How's it going? She's saying she's just chilling. She's good. But yeah, no, my cats are doing all right. Cats are doing well. Chilling. Yeah, they're pretty much chilling. They're at home right now. Just I guess waiting for me to come back there and kind of maybe give them some treats, give them some food as well. But yeah, no, thanks for asking. It's been a solid midday session. What's going on, Adair? How was everything?
I'm not mic'd up, but I will yell. It was good. Thank you for asking.
Okay. All right. What's that? Oh, she passed the mic. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. She's saying it was everything was good. Everything is Gucci, and yeah, you'll be seeing her for the afternoon show as well coming up. So yeah, it's been a solid midday there. Had some good trades, had some bad trades, but you know, we reflect, we journal, we learn, and then we try to come back a little bit better tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday though, but Monday is what I mean. When I say tomorrow, I mean the next trading day is usually what I'm referring to there. But yeah, no, thank you all for spending time with us here. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two on moving averages today and some crazy volatility. We only have about 30 seconds left, so I'm just reading the chat there. Freddie, the friendly guy, saying I have a lot of rescue cats too. Cats are awesome, man. I'm not really. I know people are usually like biased from like cats or dogs. I like animals. Cats are. I've grown up around cats, so I have a little bit of a bias there. But no, they're definitely good companions, I would say. Maybe not as again, dog is a man's best friend, they say, and I think dogs are definitely super cool on that end there. But cats are pretty solid as well. You know, they kind of do their own thing. I like the vibes, mad chill. So you know, that's what I like. But anyways, I'm not gonna ramble on any further. I'm gonna pass it over to the big dogs at the big desk there, Sean and Neil. About to cover some tickers you guys have been mentioning. Sharif at the green screen. It's been a blast. I'll see you guys around. Take care. Have a good one. Happy trading.
Thank you very much, Obi. Welcome, guys, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. As Obi mentioned, Neil and Sean, they're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to look at the names as decided by you guys. So make sure